Welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz, and I am joined in person in studio in Los Angeles by Danny Kelly, Craig Horlbeck, and Tom Brady is joining us here. Tom, what'd you think of that Super Bowl, Tom?
Two competitive teams who both had great seasons. It's a 30-point blowout, and there's still an hour left in this game. So I'm really just going to say nothing for about an hour. But I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to keep talking, KB. The Super Bowl, it's not just you know what's the best part about it? Is when he was vamping, he just over-explains so much. And he did this one part where he was like, when you win a Super Bowl, it's not just about you, it's about your family and your friends. It's about your teammates from college, your teammates from high school, your teammates from middle school, elementary school. It's like, Tom.
He's filibustering the rest of the game.
He'd be like, Super Bowl's not just about the game, it's about what you do that day. You wake up, you brush your teeth, you get in the shower. You make breakfast. It could be eggs. It could be cereal, KB. And then you got to drive to the stadium. So it's not just about the football game.
The best part was that when the game ended, they went to the Fox desk, and Gronk was like, "Yeah, you rush 4 and try to make Mahomes roll, and like don't let him throw downfield, get pressure." And he was like, "That was our strategy when we beat him with the Bucs in the Super Bowl." And I was like, why didn't Tom Brady say that at any point in the game?
Brady didn't say that once.
The funny thing is that's kind of like the big cliche in football is try and get pressure with 4. Yeah. But he just didn't say the biggest cliche.
Yeah. So his last Super Bowl win was literally this exact strategy against that team, and he didn't bring it up.
So anyway, so we should probably talk about this game. For being honest, kind of boring. I was pretty into the commercials by third quarter.
Much like me drinking water out of a mug, this game just didn't feel right. It's kind of weird.
Wow.
DK, what is again, the Chiefs, they lost to the Eagles 40-14. I mean, they got their teeth kicked in.
That's like
40-22.
Game,
40-22. I honestly stopped watching.
We actually did probably.
I didn't watch.
No, honestly,
I wrote it down.
That's why this game was even more awkward, because it was like, it was already awkward how big of a blowout it was. It's like, all right, this game is over at halftime. And then it was super over, and it was literally 40-6 at one point. And then they scored twice, and it now looks like 40-22. So it's like, it was the most awkward concoction possible.
Yeah.
That it was like, 40-6, like that's still a blowout. And it's like, 40-22. Now when people look back, they're not going to think it was as big of a blowout, but it still was. It's just like, in all ways, it was a 10 out of 10 on like the, what do we do with this scale?
It was a boring blowout.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, there's differences in, like, there can be fun blowouts, I guess, if the football is really clean and exciting and deep throws and all that stuff, big plays.
Like the Broncos Seahawks blowout. That wasn't that fun.
I thought this game. I'm sure
it was
DK. It was fun for you. You're a Seahawks fan.
I was in Nirvana.
I think this game was very, very, very similar to that Broncos Seahawks game. I know the Broncos offense was like way more prolific than the Chiefs offense, but it's similar. Where it's like, they have Peyton Manning and the Seahawks, and at the time, the Seahawks defense, frankly, had a lot in common with this Eagles defense that was playing at this elite level, but no one knew they were that good yet. And because, back then, who's Richard Sherman? And then the first snap, it's like, the Seahawks went up like 8-0 immediately or whatever, 7-0 immediately. And then it was 43-8. And it was like this boring from wire to wire. It was kind of like, I don't want to watch. This is over. And frankly, the only reason it even was as interesting as it was because Mahomes was on the other sideline. Any other game, once you go over 7, once it was 20-0 or 24-0, you're like, on any normal Sunday, you would turn the game off.
Yeah, there was like a morbid curiosity to watching Mahomes and the Chiefs get their ass kicked.
It was just, honestly, it was the Schadenfreude Super Bowl. Like, it was I don't know if there's ever been, frankly, this is what the 28-3 game felt like before Brady came back.
Before it actually,
where everyone at halftime, we were celebrating. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted Tom Brady to lose that goddamn game. I remember in college, it was like two friend groups at parties. All Patriots fans watched it alone. Everyone wanted the Patriots to lose, went somewhere else. And like, this is what that was supposed to feel like, was just the second half party, and everyone who hated Mahomes and hates the Chiefs and is tired of this, which I don't even feel that way, but I think everyone, it was delicious to watch them just fail. But
totally. I wanted the Chiefs to win, I think.
What did you remember? Because we were talking about this before the game. What like, you can't kind of. Yeah. You can't ignore what your body wants or whatever.
When you find out in the moment.
My body really wanted it.
Sometimes you should. But
sure.
My body is telling me to win.
Impulse control sometimes.
Although I did bet the Eagles minus 14.5, which hit.
Yeah.
But I wanted the Chiefs to win.
Well, I mean, I bet Xavier Worthy 2 touchdowns, and that was, never.
We all made a lot of money today. I think I wanted the Chiefs to win just because it would be cool to witness greatness.
Right.
But I think I actually prefer the fact that the Eagles kicked the shit out of the Chiefs, because it validates this game for me where if it was a close game and the Chiefs lost, I think I would have been a little bummed. Like, man, they were so close to this three-peat that could have been so historic to witness that. But now that the Eagles did this, it really made me feel like the right team won. They were the best team. And I'm happy for them. And I kind of, we were all kind of joking that we didn't want the Eagles to win. We didn't want Eagles Chiefs. But this much of a dominant performance did make me kind of rethink that. And now I'm happy that this is what happened. They are the best team.
It's a no-doubter. This isn't like the ball bounced weird a couple times.
It was like they kicked the shit out of them.
Yeah, and obviously, and we've talked about this for like the last month or whatever. They've only lost one game since September. That game was the game that Jalen Hurts went out. So I mean, you could put an asterisk on that game in particular. But like, this has been the most dominant team for the last several months. And we said this. It's maybe one of the best teams, one of the best rosters ever assembled. I think this game really validates that thought because this is like an absolutely dominant performance against one of the best teams in the NFL and the Chiefs, obviously, and they snuffed out the option of a three-peat. So like this is like a legacy building type of game.
And not just that, the Eagles should be the overwhelming favorites to win the Super Bowl next year.
They're not losing many of these guys.
Well, that's the thing is obviously anytime you win the Super Bowl, you're the favorite to win the next year, but there's no reason to think the Eagles, this team's going to get better next year. Literally, it's just a question of whether they're as healthy. But like that defense is, I mean, these are two of the younger defenses in the league. When you look at the actual contributors, like, I mean, again, the defensive line, it's like Jalen Carter. He's like, what, his second year in the NFL?
Jordan Davis,
Nolan Smith, Cooper DeJean, and Quinion Mitchell are rookies, and they kind of dominated. Like even the plays. I mean, we're going to go over. There are so many stats from this game. But you can't, it's hard to put into words like how good the secondary was too covering. And I'm like, all of these guys are probably going to get better next year. And then the offensive line too. I mean, it's kind of, as a Giants fan, it's depressing. Like the Eagles are clearly the best team in the NFL.
I mean, I think, there's a ton of stats about this game that are like, we were kind of compiling them throughout the game. I think the Chiefs had, they had like one first down in the first half or something like that.
At halftime, the Eagles had 10 first downs.
You
want to
just do all the stats right now?
Well, what I was going to say is like, yes, I do. But like to preface that, it's like this was the worst game of Patrick Mahomes' career.
100%. And it's not even close because
if you look at the success rate and EPA per.
And it's why the last 5 minutes of the game are going to muddy all that.
Yeah,
look at his numbers. He had like 260 yards, 3 touchdowns, but it wasn't like that at all.
We need to fix stats where it's like, this one is disgusting.
Cut them off when there's a certain win probability.
We really do. And so, but.
And there's true shooting percentage. I've always thought there should be like a true game score or a true stat
there does
line
need to be.
It's not accurate.
There does need to be because like here's the difference because we talked all week and we did talk about a blowout where it's like, is this the only? We basically like, well, the Eagles have a better team, the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes. And we did ask multiple times last week, is this the Bucs-Chiefs Super Bowl where we're not talking enough about, okay, but like how's Mike Caliendo going to fare against Jalen Carter? And Joe Thuney, who just got moved to left tackle against Nolan Smith. Spoiler, did really badly. Like, again, one of the many stats here is, of the Eagles, they didn't blitz in this game. And more than half of their 4-man rushes when the game counted.
Literally
pressured.
zero blitzes. When
no blitzes.
Zero
blitzes
in
the game, which has only happened like 4 times ever.
And yet they still pressured him on more than half his dropbacks, which kind of tells you everything you need to know. This was the Chiefs-Bucs game again in that sense where the O-line didn't, they kind of skimped at left tackle for 5 years. It's kind of incredible. Having said that Chiefs-Bucs Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes played out of his mind. Patrick Mahomes was incredible in that Chiefs-Bucs Super Bowl, and there was just too much going on around him. Patrick Mahomes played terribly today. Like he just
3
played
turnovers. I mean, one of his picks was he got hit when he threw it.
One was he got hit, but the pick 6 to Cooper DeJean, he was like rage tilting. He looked like when you're losing a video game or like you're losing in poker and you're making emotional decisions. He like threw that ball with like anger across his body. Like you could see his frustration. You said at one point, was that when Mahomes was on the sideline and Kelsey was like, you okay? And he was like, I'm good.
It was 10-0, and I think Aaron Andrews said that some Chiefs teammates were going up to Mahomes and kind of checking on him, and Mahomes was pushing them away, saying, I'm all right.
That's disconcerting.
The second people started asking you, are you okay? You're usually not okay.
It was
we kept saying, "Oh, he's Michael Jordan." No one came up to Michael Jordan in the finals and was like, "Are you good?
Dude, are you good,
dog?
right?
Like,
are you good?
Are you good?
Such a bad
because
it's a bad sign.
He was flustered in the first quarter. He started to get the Peyton Manning happy feet. You could see he was not stepping up in the pocket. He would kind of instinctively like step 3 steps back just in case because he was feeling the pressure even if it wasn't there. It's crazy. Austin sent us this stat from Seth Walder. The Eagles blitz Mahomes 0 times, like we said. Mahomes is now the 6th quarterback in Super Bowl history to not be blitzed a single time, and in those instances, all 6 quarterbacks lost.
That's because when you do it, you're confident you're going to hit him anyway. The confidence is a huge mismatch.
They didn't need to blitz because they were getting to him so much. He had 6 sacks, 16 pressures.
That That's the key to winning a Super Bowl, is to assemble the greatest roster ever and the best D-line ever.
Yeah, I made the list.
Or have Tom Brady.
Here's the blueprint.
That's the only ways to beat Mahomes.
This is what we do in this business. We create the blueprint every time. Every year there's a new blueprint for winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Usually it's have the best quarterback.
Yeah.
But actually what the Eagles blueprint is, best offensive line, best defensive line,
best
two
secondary.
awesome receivers, the best running back in the NFL, being able to fix your secondary in one draft, have an unstoppable play in short yardage, find some random free agent and turn him into an all-pro.
I actually did 3 of that, but yeah.
What else am I missing?
Oh, get the first receiver to win a Heisman Trophy in 3 decades, and have your other receiver be twice as big and faster.
Have a great defensive coordinator. What else?
You have 2 choices. One, you get the greatest quarterback ever. That's one way to win the Super Bowl. Right. And the other is just, if you don't have that, you have to make sure the other 21 players are better than the other team's 21 players.
And it really is. And
that's it.
Especially in this game, like I think the first or second drive, the Eagles did the tush push and Chris Jones hurt his neck. And when that happened, I was like, dude, now that list where it's... And here's the thing. We said all week, well, how many players in the Eagles are better than the Chiefs? It's like kind of all of them except Mahomes and Chris Jones. Chris Jones got hurt. I don't know if it affected him. It seemed like it. Here's the other thing. I feel like Mahomes and Jalen Hurts Freaky Friday. From wire to wire, Patrick Mahomes looked like he was the one questioning himself, doubting, like the pressure of the three-peat got to him. Like, I do think that he's like, I think
the pressure of the defensive line got to him. I don't think it was the pressure of the
but he was,
literal pressure.
Yeah, and then Jalen Hurts had nothing. Like, they couldn't get any pressure on him the whole game. Sorry. How does Brady say pressure?
Pressure.
That's such weird intonation.
Shout out to everyone who did
a pop filter on that mic.
Shout out to everyone who did the Brady drinking game. We put that on Instagram and Twitter, and it's Blue Sky and everything. So shout out. But yeah, no, people.
Somebody added when he kept calling Mahomes Patrick the whole game.
Why did he kept calling him Patrick?
It's not the Krusty Krab. We get it. You know him.
I can't. Now it's like thinking during the game. I'm like, is this normal? Do they usually just refer to him
Patrick?
Only as Patrick?
No, definitely not.
It's usually Mahomes.
And what I don't like about it is he definitely made a concerted effort to do that.
Yeah, Brady was thrilled about this, right? Brady is watching this like, yeah, this guy, he's going
to... He said all the right things in the pregame show in terms of, like, he interviewed Patrick Mahomes in the pregame show and was like, oh, I want to see greatness. I want you to do well, blah, blah, blah. He's like, no, that's bullshit.
A question for you guys.
Yeah.
You know in Sarah Marshall, when he's like, sees Kristen Bell again, he's like, oh, I wish I was wearing this fucking shirt.
Mm-hmm.
You think Patrick Mahomes regrets wearing a green suit to this game?
The green tuxedos do seem kind of fucked up now.
That was a weird choice.
Didn't age well. He's like, he literally wore, maybe it's, do you think it's because he wore Eagles colors, or do you think he knew he was going to be smashed into the turf the whole game and he wanted like camo?
I respect it, ultimately. Like, those are what, like, Michael Jordan would do that. That's what you do. You have to have that confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Everyone saw the game. Like, in a way, it's, the Eagles dominated the trenches on both sides of the ball. Like, it was kind of embarrassing. Like, you're getting Mahomes shoved in, his own linemen are getting shoved into him while Jalen Hurts is untouched. And then they honestly, they kind of dominated on special teams too. Like, even the Chiefs punting was not nearly as good. Like, everything was sloppy. And then,
everything was into the end zone. Yeah,
and then Hurts Hurts just thoroughly outplayed behind. Like, every player on the Eagles kind of outplayed every player on the Chiefs, to be totally honest.
You really got to give it to Hurts, man. He's every time under the bright lights, he really performs. I mean, against the Commanders, and today he was awesome. The last Super Bowl against the Chiefs, he was fantastic.
He had like one bad play in the whole game.
I know.
Yeah.
In the whole previous Super Bowl.
And now, so Hurts has been a starter for the full season for 4 years. And he's now been to 2 Super Bowls and won one and won an MVP, which is exactly the same as Patrick Mahomes, which is kind of crazy. Obviously, the roster might be a little bit better.
He had 17-22 passing, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, 72 yards rushing, and a touchdown.
He looked way faster today, I thought, rushing the ball.
Yeah, he had some juice when he was running around, and they kept flushing him out of the pocket, and he just absolutely took advantage of it.
Yeah, down the sidelines, I thought he was awesome.
But you know what's so funny about Jalen Hurts? He's just had like the best team for so much of his career, and he's like this perfect quarterback for the best. Like when he was at Alabama, like he just had the best team. And then all those recruits that used to would have gone to Alabama started going to Georgia, and now those Georgia guys are on the Eagles, and he's kind of just like been on the best team for like 8 years in a row, which is not even a knock. Like he's just, I don't know.
Because Andy's gone through adversity, getting benched at Alabama for Tua, and then having to like come in and save Tua to win the SEC championship, and then being the backup in Philadelphia. That's why at the end of the broadcast, there was like an immediate Jordan commercial for Jalen.
That was cool.
It was really cool. It was like love, Hurts. What I liked about it is they kind of did the classic like
No one believed in
But
me.
I was told Jalen Hurts couldn't be a starter. But like,
I was told Steph Curry couldn't shoot.
exactly. But those are so ridiculous. I was told Steph Curry wasn't a good shooter. We're actually kind of told that about Jalen Hurts. And so,
Well, I mean, to be clear, AJ Brown said it about Jalen Hurts
Yeah.
as well. AJ Brown also said it. They left that out of the commercial.
I just like it. Yeah, it's just cool. Like Hurts is actually criticized all the time, and he did it and put his money where his mouth was.
More importantly, he's super hot.
Yeah, good looking
Like
dude.
he's super hot, and I
Good-looking
think
guy.
that he's going to get more famous in endorsements now because unlike Mahomes, Jalen Hurts has like broad sex appeal.
Sure.
Like
He's now a Super Bowl winning quarterback,
Yes.
which is like this extra level in like the coolness factor in the NFL for whatever reason.
When was the last hot Super Bowl winning quarterback that wasn't Tom Brady? Like Mahomes is not hot. Like he's hot because he won a Super Bowl, but he's not hot.
Probably Big
outside of
Ben.
God.
What's cool? The funny thing about you're right. Hurts is gonna be way more famous now. All this stuff, way more ads, way more brand deals. He was like boring, right? But now after he's won,
now it's like
he's
sick.
gone from boring to stoic. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Lame to
he's
interesting.
He's
doesn't say
mysterious.
anything.
He's mysterious now.
Mysterious.
Yeah.
He speaks in riddles.
They should
That's
play into
ooh.
that. They should just make commercials where he doesn't even talk.
They should. Yeah, it's just like endorsing Gatorade, and he's like,
He just like takes a sip and looks
He's
at
like-
the
into
camera.
it.
Yeah.
and he just has like he kind of has like the weird Mike Tomlinisms, but he's like 26 years old.
He's so
He's younger. He's the same age as Kai. Wherever Kai is,
yeah.
dude.
Kai, they're both 26.
Get going,
I
Kai.
think Kai's 2 months older than him, so Kai's
Aren't we
a
all-
little behind.
I can son him. Yeah.
But we're no longer allowed to call him boring. We have to say he's mysterious.
He's
now.
mysterious.
He was so mysterious
Steely.
that
He was
in the
mysterious.
post game interview with Aaron Andrews, after 2 questions, she didn't have anything to ask him.
Jeez.
That was like us on Radio Row playing the beer pong game after we ran out of questions because the guy kept missing.
We're like,
Aaron
Jake
Andrews,
Delhomme couldn't hit a cup. I'm like, oh man.
Aaron Andrews was literally improvising and was like, Jalen, look at the confetti. No,
said
look
it
at
twice.
it. Look at the confetti.
Look at it.
And Jalen Hurts was like, I feel nothing looking at that.
Look at the
She didn't
confetti,
even know to ask
Jalen.
him.
Oh my god. All right, we're good. I just want to read some other crazy stats from this game, and then I'll read some I had. We could go back and forth. I want to start with the Eagles had more points in the first half than the Chiefs had yards.
24.
The Eagles had 24 points, 24-0 at halftime. The Chiefs had 23 yards at halftime, which kind of summarizes the entire game.
Sticking with the halftime stat, they were down 24-0. 24 is tied for the second highest halftime score margin in Super Bowl history.
That's the
1988.
The other one I loved, I did this math myself, because the Chiefs in the first half averaged 0.8 yards per play, which was I only see decimals in Giants games. It was rattling to see a Chiefs game. And I was like, what's 0.8 of a yard? And I looked it up, it's 29 inches. The Chiefs' average play went 29 inches in the first half.
that's tough.
Which, again, I mean, how big is a football? Like, at that point, like, you can't even advance. Like, if you just started and fell down, you'd make, like, you know.
That was the other thing. I mean, nothing was working. And again, you look at the stat sheet, it's going to show like Xavier Worthy 160 yards.
Right.
They couldn't do anything. Who was the highest rusher? Mahomes was the highest rusher with 25 yards.
Jalen Hurts.
No, I mean on the
Well, now I'm
Chiefs.
realizing, on the Chiefs, oh, my God.
It was
no, they didn't
Mahomes,
get
I think,
anything.
with 24
Well,
yards.
Again, this is the other thing where, again, I don't,
25 yards.
25 yards. How many did Pacheco or Hunt have?
Hunt had 9. P. Ryan had 8.
Well,
and Pacheco had 7.
the Chiefs at the end of the day, and look, and again, I don't think this is it's surprising, but it's not shocking because it's like the Chiefs got away, not even all season, 3 years with a kind of I guess Pacheco was better last year, but like in this season, the Chiefs had an unserious running game ever since Pacheco broke his leg in like September, and they have Kareem Hunt, which no other team wanted. Unserious running game, and they have no left tackle. And you're like, oh, well, in retrospect, maybe we should have seen it coming. I'm like, this team skimped on left tackle for 5 years. They have done shoestring and bubblegum at left tackle, and they were like this close to three-peating doing it. So I'm not going to call them out for it, but it's like, yeah, it's like this game, you're like, okay, this doesn't work in this situation. But I mean, you just keep going through this. Isaiah Pacheco, I keep using halftime. One, because clearly I didn't see the touchdown at the end of the game, but I'm like, it was over at halftime. And Isaiah Pacheco had 1 rushing yard at halftime. Kareem Hunt had 2 rushing yards at halftime. Travis Kelce had 0 catches. DeAndre Hopkins had 0 catches. And then Mahomes in the first half had more passing yards to the Eagles than he did to the Chiefs.
There was-
like DeJean's interception was 38 yards. He only had 33 to his own team.
It was such a strong endorsement, and this is what we heard from Sirianni and everybody in the post game show was basically just harping on it. Jalen Hurts said it several times. It's like, man, team sport. Like the depth is what matters. We came together. We worked really hard. We worked our asses off for this, and together we were able to create this absolute buzzsaw team. And I mean, at one point at halftime, I think it was at halftime. I remember someone tweeted out, it's like Kenneth Gainwell and shoot, there was someone else. Oh, and Jahan Dotson. So two like the most role players of all role players because they barely ever see the football. They're only in there to just like, run routes and take up space essentially most of the time. Those two guys both had more yards each than the Chiefs had total.
What?
At halftime.
That's actually crazy. And there were so many things from this game. I mean, I guess while we're being earnest about the Eagles, because there's so much funny stuff I want to talk about from the Super Bowl. But I will say, Howie Roseman, the GM president, whatever the Eagles, would be like the best fantasy football player of all time. I actually think I feel stronger now I could be a GM in the NFL after watching this game. Because if you actually look at the list of how the Eagles built this team, it's kind of just, I mean, I know everyone's like, oh, you talk about Howie Roseman, but I'm like, dude, he went and drafted, I mean, just in the last couple of years, he went and got the Georgia defensive line, got Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. He went and got Cooper DeJean and Quinion Mitchell this year. But the other draft choices he made were like the best time to get a quarterback is when you don't need one. He drafted Jalen Hurts when he had Carson Wentz. That could have got him fired if that went really poorly. If Carson Wentz was good and mad, he could have gotten him fired.
People were really upset when that happened.
People were really mad. He drafted...
Super Bowl MVP.
Oh, the Falcons do it, though. It's not cool. Okay.
Yeah. Well, he drafted Jason Kelsey's replacement 2 years ago. And then guess what? You got the tush push, and it still works without him. Kelsey retires. And so those are the easy ones. But the flip side is the amount of times that he just took players that were misused on other teams, and he just fit them. Getting Saquon from the Giants, which is the obvious one. But you look at the other ones. Stealing Darius Slay from the Eagles because he was pissed at Matt Patricia and the Lions, and they got Darius Slay for a third. You stole Chauncey Gardner-Johnson from the Saints, and like that's another starting cornerback from you. Like Mekhi Becton, who was a very high first-round pick for the Jets,
like
and
the top 10 pick, yeah,
good as a left tackle, and then mad at the organization, spotting these guys who flashed real talent and had like personal issues with teams. Mekhi Becton now is a 6 foot. He's like 25-year-old starting guard for the Eagles, and is going to be there as long as he stays healthy. And it's like if you just look up and down, it is just draft steals and then stealing players that were good on other teams that they left for like interpersonal reasons. And you just I don't know. It's really. It is crazy how simple it is sometimes when you actually look. If all they did was buy the dip. Like every single player on the team.
Did you talk about Bond already?
Oh yeah, Zach Bond, who was not special on the Saints.
Who he didn't do anything for the Saints. Yeah.
All the Eagles did, if you look up down their roster, is
now he's just getting lucky.
That one was like, they got lucky. Luck favors the prepared. And I think that like they had everything around Zach Bond to be successful. You make your own luck. But you look around, it is just players who fell too far in the draft, and they're like, I don't care about my needs. I don't care that I have a quarterback. I don't care that I have a defensive end. It's not about need. It's like, this guy fell too far, we're going to take him. This guy fell too far, we're going to trade up for him. This person should not be a free agent.
Yeah, you can't have too good of a D-line.
This is exactly true. Like I say the same about an offensive line. It's like keep drafting guys because you're gonna have injuries and you're gonna have guys retire or whatever, sign free agent deals. You have to keep that pipeline going. That's what they do. And I know they feel the same way about the quarterback position, obviously because of Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I mean it is just sort of like the textbook way to do the GM job. And I think
it's easy to say, but it's hard to do.
Yeah,
again,
it also helps when your picks work out, like the DeJean and Quinion Mitchell picks this year. Like,
oh my god,
a lot of players. I mean, not a lot of players actually. That draft class was really good, but they could have picked the wrong players to make those to fill those positions, but they didn't.
I think we have to talk about Nick Sirianni,
one of the greatest coaches of all time.
Yeah, would you
Super Bowl winning coach Nick Sirianni?
2 Super Bowls appearances in 4 years.
We talked so much about whether Patrick Mahomes was Michael Jordan. We never once considered whether Nick Sirianni was Bill Belichick.
He fought with he did fight with AJ Brown up 17-0, I believe.
I remember thinking that was the most.
It's not fighting, Craig. It's strategic fire lighting.
No days off.
I remember thinking that was the most Eagles thing I'd ever seen. Was they were up 17-0, smacking the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and AJ Brown screaming at Sirianni, and I'm like, this is the fucking Eagles, man. Yeah. This is this team.
I kind of see now though, because Philly fans are a special breed. He does kind of like represent that city and that fan base in a lot of ways.
He's perfect when they're winning.
Dude,
yeah.
He's perfect, but he's also the worst when you're losing.
Any adversity, and they're just like, I hate you.
They're just high-strung. They're a high-strung
team. It's a high-strung city. I mean, they're all... Someone tweeted this New Orleans note to grease the polls. I will say, so I live in D.C., but like talking to people in New York, D.C., every single person in the 4-hour radius of Philadelphia went back to Philadelphia. At some point, we're gonna have to pull up like a live stream of what's going on.
There is
actually crazy. I cannot imagine what's happening.
Someone
in
on
the
Blue
city
Sky
tonight.
named Kat Flandermeyer is live tweeting the Philadelphia police scanner.
Oh,
It's
God.
some of the best content you'll ever see. Do you want me to read a
Yeah,
few of these?
yeah.
I do. Please.
Okay, I'm just gonna go through it. I haven't read these yet, so this is just gonna be live. This is quote. I've got fireworks. There's also a DJ booth. And then parentheses intermittent explosions in the background. Hold on. We got a barricade going up down the street. We have lost all the barricades. We have
lost the barricades.
We have random dirt bikes that have gotten around the barricade. Well, now we got dirt bikes, guys. Now we have ants. Let's see here.
Our pets' heads are falling off.
She says, Broad and Locust is lost. Like this is a zombie apocalypse or something. It's
Locusts. Lost to the locusts.
So there was like a call for a medic for a guy that was down. He said, disregard second man. He has apparently gotten up out of his alcohol and continued partying. There's like, I saw somewhere someone was like, there's 5,500 people listening to this police scanner live right now. It's like, this is the best entertainment. Because the second half of the game was like boring as
The
hell.
police
Let's be
scanner
honest.
probably
The
got better
police scanner
ratings in
is
the fourth
most
quarter.
entertaining part of the
Let's
Super
be
Bowl.
honest. It is our like job to cover the NFL, and we love the NFL. And I was genuinely more interested in the commercials, more in the middle of the third quarter, like both personally, and I'm like, I think at this point it's better for content. Like the commercials were actually, I kind of was looking at my phone during the game, and by the 5 minutes left, and like the commercials came on, I was like, oh man, Kevin Costner or Harrison
You
Ford's in a
literally
log
know
cabin.
they had scored another touchdown.
Thank God.
Who cared?
Thank God for Harrison
doesn't
Ford
matter.
because I bought a Jeep in the fourth quarter.
Oh my God,
Instead
dude,
of
that was
watching
pretty
the game.
sick.
Craig went out and got a 2-year lease.
I did.
Unlike, we should,
I bought a
honestly,
Wrangler.
Dude,
you
that
should have hit
line-
another half-court shot. They should have gave you that one.
I gotta
Harrison
say,
Ford would have given it to
the
you.
line at the end of that commercial where he's like, and he's like talking about all the things that make him happy. My family, my friends, my kids, whatever.
Like Tom Brady.
My pets.
It's about
And then he
elementary
goes,
school, middle
and my
school.
Jeep. Even though I'm a Ford.
Even though my last name is
That was kind of a bar.
iconic.
That was a bar. That was pretty sick.
Man, he keeps doing it.
Did you,
He keeps doing it.
DK? Did you feel more American when Harrison Ford was selling you a Jeep in a log cabin, or when Glenn Powell was riding like a Ram pickup truck over a volcano
It's
and yelling
like-
freedom?
It captures like both sides of your brain, right? Like both sides of our uniquely American brains. There was a lot of like patriotic in a different way commercials in this game. This is like, I guess, veering into political stuff, but it felt like there was a
It's
lot
big
of
Trump's America. Let's be real.
There
A
was
white cornerback got a pick six as soon as they removed end racism from the end zone. Like this was a big. We're in a new.
He would have
era.
ran away from
No,
it.
but I
That'd
thought the commercials were sort of anti what's happening in the country right now. There was like the intro, like the Brad Pitt
I
intro.
think it propped up the idea that America is together right now.
Right.
And that we
Like-
are all one and family and happy.
Right. Brad
Which,
Pitt
you could probably
had
read both ways.
sure.
Yeah,
Brad
I
Pitt-
think that's true.
He had like a
They're doing what
5-minute.
they're trying to do. They're trying to get people to read. Yeah.
Yes.
Pitt had like a 5-minute kind
Yeah.
of just like intro thing before the game. It was like 30 minutes before the game, and it was talking about the huddle and how the huddle is so the football is such a uniquely American sport or whatever. The huddle is symbolic of everyone coming together, and like all this stuff. It kind of
They had Tom Cruise do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have Kevin Costner, you have Harrison Ford. It's like all these great, iconic American
Yeah.
protagonists from the screen telling you about why this country and this sport is so great right now.
But
And it was
I
like
thought
30-0.
I felt it was all very vaguely, or not vaguely, but overtly anti what's happening. In
But
this
also,
country.
you watched the Brad Pitt one and you were like, "That's good," and then Tom Cruise started, and you're like, "This is enough."
The Brad Pitt one was pretty good. Like it got me. I'm not gonna lie.
The Google one, I was like, I'm ready to have a family.
Do you guys want to? Oh yeah, want to go through the commercials that got
Google
you?
Gemini thing about paranoia.
I'm back in on Google Gemini.
We had the same thought where I was like,
You're like,
"Man, I
damn
should
it,
have."
get Gemini.
I was like,
Texted
I
Liz,
should have
I was
kids.
like, let's make a baby. Google Gemini wants us to have a child.
I thought I was supposed to tell Gemini what to do. Gemini's like, "You should procreate."
I think I might name my daughter Gemini.
Oh God.
if you get to work now, I think she'd be a Gemini. Or he.
I don't know anything about when is Gemini. When
I think it's August. I think if you get to work.
I'm
on a
August.
timeline.
Oh wait,
I'm a
no,
Leo.
it'd be November. What's 9 plus 2?
August is Leo.
11.
August is Leo.
It took me a minute.
Are we done with football, or should we keep going on the game?
Is there anything else you want to say about the game? I think that
No,
this
the game was
this-
boring.
Can I ask
We should
the-
go through we should go through a couple other things here, but then we're gonna get all in.
You want to do stats? I was going to ask a stereotypical,
Oh, yeah, the stats.
a stereotypical like post game media.
We can do
question.
that. We can just do that,
Sure.
and we can,
Okay.
Just do. Honestly, we'll come back to
Better
coming back
win
to
for the
games
Eagles,
was
worse loss for the Chiefs.
Better win for the Eagles.
Better win for the Eagles because the Chiefs fans by the fourth quarter were like, I guess we did make 5 Super Bowls and 7. Like, it's cope. It's fine.
They played a terrible game. The Eagles were dominant.
Let me first take you a little bit. Does this disgusting blowout, embarrassing loss, invalidate the last 2 Super Bowls just a little bit?
It's a good question. It's a good first take. I think
Invalidate.
Is it like, oh wow, this is the first time they went up against. They actually already almost lost to a worse Eagles team 2 years ago. Then they got by a Niners team in another weird game, and then when they played an actually good team, they got their doors blown out.
Can I re-first take you?
Their doors don't off.
Can I? Dude, I hate when my doors get blown
I can't believe I
off.
said that. My brain is 2 steps ahead.
Can I re-first take you?
Sure.
I actually think it
actually
validates
the opposite.
I think it makes us.
Okay.
It validates everything we said about this Chiefs team when we were just like, they're 15-1, and they're like,
suck.
They suck. They're awful. Like, this team's bad.
This team sucks.
And then we're like Mahomes. I remember Mahomes. We were talking about MVP, and we're like Josh Allen, Burrow third. I'm like, there is no fourth. There's nothing to talk about. And then Chiefs fans and then they won that Texans game, and then they made the championship game, and we're like, damn, was I wrong to ignore the Chiefs and 15-1? We didn't talk about Mahomes. We didn't even consider him for MVP. I'm like, was I an idiot? Are we dumb? And I'm like, no, we were right. This team did suck. They did almost lose to the Raiders. They should have lost to the Broncos twice. It actually makes that streak of the 17-0 in their last 17 one-score games where I'm like, okay, yeah, there's something. They know how to pull a hat out of their ass. Or hat?
Oh my God, we're all doing it.
What is going on? No, you don't.
Rabbit
you pull a
out of
rabbit
the
out.
hat.
You
You
said
put
a
a rabbit
hat.
out of a hat
Out of their
or a rabbit out. Do you pull?
You just said a habit out of their ass?
That's a Richard Gere thing to pull a rabbit out of your ass. But then no, that was a gerbil.
Allegedly. Richard Gere put the gerbil in his ass, allegedly.
I guess the doctors pull it out. Allegedly.
We are a comedy show.
Horseshoe.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
I like Richard Gere as an actor. I think he's a very handsome, talented man.
He was very good in The Agency.
Great
we're
hair.
gonna
American
need-
Gigolo, good film.
Pat McAfee on his show had the bottom bar just has after Brett Favre sued him for talking about Brett Favre, and I'm not going to mention it because they sued Pat McAfee and we don't have his lawyers. So, but the bottom bar,
His lawyers.
That's his lawyers.
Just like how you said it.
This is our bit. Is we're
We've been
podcast,
in New Orleans
but
for
we
6 days.
We've been
All right?
together for way too long.
can't talk, dude. I don't. What was I saying? We need the
so-
bottom bar to say basically this is a comedy show. Don't sue us. They
But,
literally have that.
To circle back into the football thing, no, it's stupid. It does not invalidate any of their previous Super Bowl wins. Don't be stupid.
Well, now I kind of want to say it.
Do you think
validates the
there
previous
was an
wins.
element of offensive hubris by the Chiefs? Where, look, if you look at
they've had that hubris for 3 years.
It's gotten them pretty
You know what I mean?
far.
But it's maybe it's a cycle where 3-4 years, 3 Super Bowls ago, they got killed by the Bucs, kind of for the exact same reason, right? The offensive line was pretty weak.
Kind of a similar game.
Yeah, and now it's the same thing happened again. It's okay, we have to kind of reset and focus on what you
We need to actually find a left tackle.
win a game.
I figured it out.
We need to find a receiver.
Here's my first take. It's better that the Chiefs got blown out than lost a close game because of what you're saying. Where
Now they will
now they're
rethink things, retool.
Now you have to go on the
Address
serious
the
take.
issue.
Yeah, honestly, they should do something kind of radical where it's Connor Nevins here at the Ringer joked that the Eagles are going to trade for Myles Garrett in a month. Fuck. And I'm like, the Chiefs should just do something pretty radical. They need a left tackle. Between Donovan Smith and all the things they've done in the past. Again, they won Super Bowls with shoestring and bubblegum in the past. And okay, you bump Joe Tooney out from left guard to left tackle. And I think we actually got distracted by Mike Caliendo at left guard, who's an NPC. And we actually forgot Joe Tooney at left tackle was fine. That doesn't mean he was good. And when he had to be on an island against Nolan Smith, you're like, dude, Nolan Smith and Josh Sweat in particular.
I mean, even Trey
bullied
Smith
him.
was getting beat.
Dude, literally they were destroyed. So, I mean, here's the thing. You're the 31st pick in the draft. They're not necessarily going to be able to get a left tackle. They're going to have to do something kind of bold there. Or maybe Kingsley Suamataia develops or something. But yeah, no, they need someone they need an X receiver that's not DeAndre Hopkins, who's clearly they need some real tools. But it's probably better for them to get the shit kicked out of them and have an actual plan going forward.
I mean, offensively,
humility.
I guess you go in next season, you have Xavier Worthy and you have Rasheed Rice coming off the knee injury.
And they need a running Trey Smith, the right guard's a free agent. He's one of their better guards. Well, there's only 2, so he's the best guard.
Better than, yeah.
But I don't know if they're going to pay him right now. But yeah, they need a running back.
Need a running back. Travis Kelce, we don't know. He might retire. Hopkins is not going to be in the team next year. Hollywood Brown's probably not going to be in the team next year. So
And the horseshoe out of the ass, is that what I was going for before?
Have a horseshoe up your ass.
no, yeah. It's up your ass.
A golden horseshoe.
Bill says this all the time, and now I can't. You pull the
I
horseshoe
think
out of your
Bill
ass, or you
says
shove.
pull the horseshoe out of your ass, but I think
Well, he's not good with phrases either.
No, isn't the phrase like you have a horseshoe up your ass? That means you're lucky.
I don't feel
Or you
lucky.
pull it
That
out of
doesn't
your
make me
ass.
feel lucky.
It's just a horseshoe up one's ass.
Yeah, it's up your ass. You don't pull it out.
Why did I add the golden? I feel like I've heard
Golden?
one of you guys say there's a
Golden horseshoe?
golden horseshoe up your ass.
That's even more lucky. We haven't seen it.
No, golden mushroom.
Golden mushroom.
Oh, I see someone said it must have a golden horseshoe wedged up my ass.
Yeah, I get that.
Do they make gold horseshoes?
No.
Like gold plated? I know it would be full.
I mean, that seems like
too-
wasteful. You're
Well,
walking
yeah,
on it.
a lot of things are wasteful.
Sure.
Can I just say, kind of getting back on track here, Taylor Swift needed an L.
Craig's still mad because he had the take that it's totally the Travis Kelce relationship's fake.
I would.
You're still bitter. You're just using this time.
I would go back and do it again. History suggests that most of the time it's fake. If it wasn't this
History
time,
suggests.
it does. It wasn't this time.
Craig
I'm
doesn't
happy
believe
for
in
that.
true love.
But she needed an L.
Oh,
she needed to
speaking
be
of-
knocked down a peg.
Yeah.
She's had an unprecedented 2-year run.
She's had a good run.
A little jab doesn't hurt anybody. You know what I mean?
Here we go. First take. Does this loss invalidate all of Taylor Swift's wins the last 2 years?
How do we feel about Taylor Swift's legacy now? She only dates losers.
Kelsey can't
Is this
retire
beginning
now,
of the
right?
end?
Kelsey can't go out with a 30-point. I think he gave a very emotional speech Saturday night, apparently at the team hotel, and all the Chiefs kind of thought that if he was going to apparently he was so emotional, cried, and apparently he kind of was going to retire if they won. I kind of feel like he's not going to. You can't. This is the last game you
hard.
play.
This is a tough
If
one to
this
go
game
out
was
on.
close, you could still retire if you
You
lost.
lost by 30, and that's going to be your last thing.
Getting destroyed is tough.
Because think about here's my other one. Do you think Jason Kelsey's like, fuck, did I retire?
No. You still have to be happy. It's still the right move.
I know, but he's probably partying with the Eagles right now, and he's kind of like, damn, I should have played in this game and won. It seems super easy.
Well, yes.
Like,
I mean,
God,
it would have had two more seasons.
I have to enjoy my $100 million podcast now. Oh, God.
One of the few things that gave me joy. So Cooper DeJean, I mean the pick play didn't, but Cooper DeJean got a pick 6, and he scored. So it was his birthday too. Him and Saquon was his birthday. And he was the first player. I forget if it was a pick 6 on his birthday or a pick 6 and a touchdown on a Super Bowl on his birthday. I don't know, but he did it since Steve Van Buren on the 1947 Eagles. Can I read you some guys on the 1947
Please
Eagles?
do.
Dick Humbert.
Dick Hum.
Dick Hum.
That guy was a legend.
I'm not bringing up Hummers again.
What?
This is a family
You
show.
guys don't even remember.
Hummer,
I remember.
Well, you were weirded out that Hummers are. You know what's funny? Since that conversation, I've heard
I brought up
nobody refer to a Hummer as a
whale shark gummer, which was from
You're really going.
whale
Jackass.
shark gummer. Get out of here!
just Google it.
I don't on a work computer. We're in a studio.
It's from the movie Jackass.
I think
all right?
Kanye just
or the
tweeted
show,
about it.
or the show
Yeah.
maybe.
I watched that when I was. I watched that when I was
That
11.
went under the radar.
Yeah.
Dude, I was way too young to see one of the. If you're with kids, my God, I just paused. Should I count
Nothing
down?
wrong with humming.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. I was too young to watch the Jackass movie when his dick went through a wall and a rattlesnake bit it, and I was like, I can't believe my parents are letting me watch
I'm just
this.
imagining some parent going 78 miles an hour on the freeway, and they have 7 seconds to pause their fucking phone.
I think they probably already did when DK started talking about Hummers.
Yeah.
Although honestly, there's probably parents who are so young that they don't actually know what that reference is.
True. Yeah.
Look it up on
Thank you for enlightening
Urban
all of us.
Dictionary.
Yeah.
Or something.
Ben Kish was also
You know
on the
a lot about that.
1947 Eagles.
Ben Kidd?
Neil Armstrong
Shut up.
with two L's.
Man,
They didn't have enough people back then.
Oh my God. Okay. Other football stuff. Yeah. I have to admit, Sirianni holding his the interview, and first of all, they had so much time that they had an actual cameraman do the tracking shot on the Gatorade because they were so
I know,
bored.
that was kind of cool.
But
and
then
it kind of
Yeah.
ruined it.
they kind of didn't see it.
Yeah,
but
they missed the money shot. No pun intended.
Man, you are
God,
cooking
DK.
today.
Well, that's what it's
Jeez.
called.
so when you have a kid,
Isn't
are you
it?
just more comfortable with all this? Because I feel like weirdly have a lower bar than him.
You guys are getting on my case too much. I'm just saying words.
Hummers, gummers, and money shots in the last 2 minutes.
Should that be the end of the title?
What's
Hummers?
what's the term I was looking for then?
It very well could be that, but in the
What
context.
did Brady call it? What did Brady call it? That looks like a yellow sticky liquid, KB.
Oh, I have
Getting
that.
Showered in a sticky. Also, another.
That's got to be a slimy, sticky shower. And then Kevin Burkhardt goes,
We're not that
"Who-"
phrasing.
And then Kevin Burkhardt goes, who cares?
Oh God. The best. Very well. could be
Slimy,
that.
sticky. And I'm like, also, that guy. Another thing Brady said, like he hasn't won 7 Super Bowls. He's like, Gatorade bath. That's weird, huh?
That's got to be slimy, sticky. Yep.
I will say, though, it was
Who cares? They won, Tom.
when Sirianni got handed, like, he picked his kid up, and he was like, you're wet. I was like, it was actually really cute. I think your brain goes one of two ways, which is the inappropriate one, or also realistically, it was actually really sweet. And then him and his kid yelled EAGLES.
And they
Glad
spelled
they
it right.
spelled it
They spelled it
correctly,
right.
yeah.
Can I just
And I was like,
say-
it was actually really
It's
heartwarming.
kind of a
and
hard word to spell.
Eagles is a hard word to spell.
I think it like
You know
if I was
why?
under pressure, I would fuck it up.
Under pressure, yeah.
Pressure.
Because phonetically, there should be an E right after
many
that
fucking
G.
vowels.
Okay. On that note,
know what I mean?
there was a guy this morning on the local news in New Orleans. It was on Big News. It was on the Fox pregame show.
Big News.
Big News. That's actually a thing. But the Fox pregame show they were in New Orleans, and an Eagles fan went EAGELS.
That's how it should be spelled.
That's how it's a better spelling.
Yeah.
Why is the like
Change it.
They should. That's a better spelling. Eagles. Like that makes sense. Like
That's
that.
like E-gels.
Why do we spell it LES?
Yes, I agree. When you say it in your head,
Eagles.
phonetically in your head, it should be GELS.
You don't go Eagles.
No.
Like this is a weird example, but there's a center fielder in baseball called Victor Robles, ROBLES, and it's like Robles, but Eagles is Eagles. It should be Eagles.
Yeah, Robles is
We're
Spanish, but
gonna be
Well,
pissing
okay,
off
but that's better.
some-
It makes more sense.
It's
easier
tough,
to
'cause,
learn.
like the word angle is hard G and then LES, so that's also spelled the same way as Eagles,
Angle.
but angel is GEL. So it is in line with other words, Eagles. You know what I mean?
Angle.
Yeah.
This game just sucked.
You know what I mean?
Saquon got the rushing record. He broke the single season record, and I actually think it's really sick that he sat out the 17th game where he could have broken very easily, probably against the Giants, and gotten the single season rushing record of Eric Dickerson.
Cool that
and
he got this.
Frankly, he breaks a much more satisfying record, which is the including playoffs, the Terrell Davis record for a full season, including playoffs, where he got almost 2,500 rushing yards.
The only
And
thing
he gets the
missing,
Super Bowl ring.
The only thing
Ring?
missing from this game.
Wing?
What? He gets a ring.
I know, I said wing because I combined win and ring. Anyway, keep going.
The only thing that would have made this win sweeter for the Eagles is if Saquon had a great game. That was the only thing that I wish happened.
I was
Yeah,
just
we
waiting
didn't- we
for
didn't
that
get the
60-yard.
moment.
I was
No.
waiting for that 60-yard TD in the
I mean,
second
I
half.
bet you his longest run was 9-10 yards.
He had one play that put him over, but we should do a thing where, do you know how many packages they make? Like anytime you see any package they make about any player, it's like an iceberg. They have packages on a bunch of players. Can you believe how much content they made on that broadcast they didn't put on the Super Bowl?
I know.
Like I kind of want to see it. I kind of want to see all the graphics they made, and there probably some dumb animation they never got to run. Like, you know what I mean?
It would have been a nice close the loop if he just had 160 yards and 2 touchdowns.
The other we have, before we keep going, the other thing I have to ask, what was with Mike Pereira in this game? With the first time, like the early in the game, the offensive pass interference at AJ Brown, where at first I was like, oh, that's a ticky-tack call, and then they do the
was.
replay, and AJ Brown, can I recreate it on you?
Okay.
AJ Brown shoves him in the face,
Thanks.
and then shoves him again, and then Tom Brady's like, I don't like that call, and Mike Pereira's like, not a flag, and then New York calls him back after the commercial break, and is like, Mike Pereira's like, yeah, New York called me and said that it was hands to the face. I don't like it though, and I was like, he just did that because he didn't want to make Tom Brady look dumb.
I kind of agree. I thought it was kind of a soft call. My favorite part though was when Mahomes got drilled. It was the fumble sack, I believe.
Oh my God! Wait, no, and they were saying,
they-
what can Mahomes pull out?
Yes, Mahomes. But Mahomes clearly gets like punched in the face.
Okay, you want to
Oh,
do it on me?
right.
No, I'm not going to punch you in the
Well,
face.
then I'm going to do it on you.
No, you're not doing
But
that.
slow, do it slow-mo.
People get it. People know what happened.
Okay, I just wanted. All right.
Mahomes got.
You don't want to hit me at all?
I don't need those sweaty hands on my forehead.
Just clammy.
Those slimy, sticky hands.
I do
Just
have clammy
clammy
hands.
hands.
Yeah, so Mahomes
Hot,
gets drilled,
clammy hands on your face.
and there was a flag.
okay.
Come on.
I wiped
Heifetz
it
is
on him.
like
You want to know
wiping it
something?
off.
We stayed in an Airbnb on Friday night.
Yeah, that was.
And before we went out to the
Scene.
FanDuel Spotify party, Heifetz goes, Craig, do you think I can wear this shirt out? Does it smell bad? and he puts the armpit of the shirt into my nose, touches it
You had
to
offered
my
to smell
nose.
my shirt earlier.
I already did.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, and I smelled a
smelled
normal
the wrong
part.
part.
Again,
You should control the.
I didn't touch the
amount-
fabric to my
how
nose like a
close you're
sane
getting.
person.
Yes.
20 minutes later, out of nowhere, Heifetz comes in flying, shoves the
like a
armpit into my nose.
chloroform rag.
Yes, literally, I almost passed out.
He liked to harass you a little bit in that Airbnb. He came over to you and was like,
Oh, I woke
when he
you up.
woke you up, he
I
was
woke you up like my
touching
cat
your
wakes
face.
me up.
Yeah.
You're like,
You know,
dude,
people don't
get
realize
away
what
from
we
me.
go through.
I told him I was
We
like,
all slept in the same room because the Airbnb was a bit of a bait and switch, and I had an
4 bedrooms
Yeah,
does not mean 4
bait and
beds.
switch. I was wearing,
It was a 4-bed Airbnb.
it was a 1-bedroom, 4-bed, and
it was a little
I
dishonest.
was wearing an eye mask to go to sleep, and I literally woke up in the morning with hot breath
Ugh.
coming on my face, not coming on my face. Whatever, I guess it was.
Arriving
But we're
on
not
you.
doing phrasing
It
anymore.
was hot breath
Arriving,
coming on my
yeah.
face.
What would
arriving
Brady
on my
say?
face.
That hot.
Slimy, sticky. I woke up to a slimy,
sticky
sticky Heifetz shower.
Oh, God.
And I removed my eye mask, and it's Heifetz is looking at me.
So close you can't
Well, because
focus.
we had
4
to
inches
go.
away.
We had to make.
We had plenty of time.
You could just say his name.
I know, but that's not funny. We wouldn't be talking about that on the show.
Heifetz is one of those people. There's 2 types of people. This is my new bit. I say this about everything. There's 2 types of people. Those who will fuck with their friend when they're sleeping, and those who think it's the most annoying thing in the world and would never do that.
I'm so on the latter camp.
Yes.
Should we do
me
a
too.
poll?
Yeah, we should.
To be clear, it wasn't
You know
like
what-
we had to get up.
I think there's nothing. There's
We
like
30
very few
minutes.
things like more annoying than when your friend messes with you while you're sleeping.
I don't like it unless it's only like if I have
It's
to
not
wake
like
you up.
also we had like 45 minutes before we had to leave the Airbnb. It's not like
30.
that is the
I let
only.
you sleep till 10:35. We had to check out at 11.
No, it was like 10:15, but whatever.
No.
It was.
Regardless,
I'm actually on Craig's side on
That
this
is
one,
not the only way to wake somebody up
Carly-
quickly.
No, I'm not disputing how I did that.
Right.
Oh
okay,
no, I
so
woke you up slowly.
So you were, the argument was I had to wake him up. That's the argument.
No, we
you're
did have to
making?
wake you up.
I know, but why that and the method you used did not.
I just thought it was
matter.
funny.
Yeah. So it didn't matter that I had to get up. You could have woken me up in a million other ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't
So,
disagree with
Mike
that.
Pereira-
I just disagree with 10:15.
Yeah.
So
Heifetz
Mahomes.
doesn't get it. He's not getting it.
We had to
Can
go.
we start over? Let's start over at the beginning. It's really annoying when you do that. Okay.
All right, sorry.
Yes. So Mike Pereira, Mahomes gets hit in the face. They don't
Don't
call
want to
it.
hit me?
They don't call it. The Eagles get the ball, but then there's a flag, and we're like, oh, okay, they must be calling this late hit or this hit to the face. And then I believe Mike Pereira thought that he was not broadcasting live, and I think he thought that he was only in Brady and Burkhart's ear. Oh, that's what I think happened.
I missed this.
He didn't
part.
say anything bad, but
And that happened with Goodell too at the end.
yes, but I think but
right. Hot
Pereira
mic
was so
moment.
low energy, where they were like, "What happened there? Is this flag going to be on that hit to the face by Mahomes?" And you just hear Pereira go, "Nah, the Eagles guy like dunked the ball on the goalpost. That was the flag."
I've never heard. How long have you been watching football? I think I've been watching football like since I had memories for like 26 years probably. I've never heard any announcer speak with as little energy as Mike Pereira did. You're probably right.
I think
he probably
that's the
thought
case.
he was talking.
He was
to
literally
Brady.
like, he was like, no, I think the Eagles guy like dunked the ball. that was what he said on national television. It was great. I loved it.
Oh my God. Also, the Goodell thing, if you didn't catch it, because again, why would you have stuck around to watch the Eagles get the trophy? You know,
I mean, Philly fans. Maybe.
unless you're the Eagles fan, but like, I mean, it was a long game. But Goodell is on the podium, and what did he say? It's weird.
it was
They're,
like right
He was
handing
like,
before-
over-
not until after the trophy.
I said, but he said,
I'll
I
do it
said
after the trophy.
after the I said after the trophy, and it was kind of like, you know, you ever been at your parents' house when you were a kid, and like you heard something like a little snippy, you're like, oh my God,
Have you ever seen that video of Steve Sarkisian yelling at that guy in the tunnel?
yeah.
Yeah, tough one.
I haven't seen that.
You should look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, look that up. You should do your own research.
Okay, should we get to the good stuff?
Yeah, what are you going to talk about? Brady, commercials? We did a lot of Brady.
We did a
You
lot
do
of Brady.
commercials.
Yeah. You want to do
Oh yeah.
commercials?
Thanks,
or
first off,
commercials?
thanks for everyone who played the Brady drinking.
Yeah,
game
shout
with us
out.
today.
Yeah, I would say
What was the tally?
overall,
God.
he had one stud. We might be out. We tried to keep track. One stud, one red area, 3 KBs.
I think there's more than that.
I
Probably
think we
more.
bullied him at a KB.
We had
I
about-
actually
Lots
think
of
he's
weird
seen it.
pressures.
We had like 8 pressures.
Pressure was the big winner.
We had to finish your drink because he drew a pointless circle on the screen. He got it wrong. He literally just circled the entire team,
Yeah.
and then he was like, I missed that.
We had fakes human excitement on there. I feel like we could have probably.
They had a commercial where he
thrown a
faked
few
human
on there.
excitement.
Yeah, that was like he was like kind of poking fun at himself.
Well, he
that
did
was
3
a robot.
commercials too. We
He
had
did
that
4.
I think
Oh my
4.
God.
Which was to take a shot. All in all, though, I mean, it was.
It wasn't terrible.
No, it wasn't.
No, he wasn't that bad.
It was fine.
We got the black tied bet.
Oh, dude, free money.
Heifetz.
12 to
My
1
God,
black
dude,
tie.
great job. That was
12 to 1.
impressive.
Yeah. The 12-1 works.
Brady
I'd
did.
like to point out I also had it written down, but
Nice. That's really awesome, man. Anyway.
Big gulps, huh?
God damn it.
No, that's super cool. You also had that. We all believe you. I think Brady did have a moment where he tried to imitate human excitement when the Hertz's touchdown to Devontae Smith, that deep ball.
The greatest throw of his life.
Brady went hoarse, and they needed to replace his Duracell batteries, like the commercial. And he was like, absolute dime, throw of his life.
Throw of his life.
Smith beats him. Maybe that could be the dagger. He flirted with a "this is crazy" moment. Yeah, he tried, but he lost his voice. It's because he yells with everything he says.
It's so much funnier with the announcing when you see him do that video explaining the breakdown.
Dude, on Coward, he was
Coward
great.
show, and you're like, yeah, this
Just
is who
like
they
natural.
hired.
He was great
This
on
is what I've been
Coward.
saying
It's
the
bizarre.
whole year. Is like
He's actually-
just
he could be
trying
really
to
good
be
at
too
it.
professional.
He's trying
could be
too
really
hard. He's
good at it.
over prepping.
Yes.
He's
Just
nervous.
be yourself.
He went on Colin Coward. Yeah, if he had just done the Colin Coward thing on the pregame, we'd be like, oh my god,
I mean,
you're
like,
the best ever
so
at this.
and for context, for people who haven't heard it, basically, he was just talking about, how he preps for a game. He's like, oh, when I go out there, I know exactly what the linebackers do.
Yeah, he was like, I knew
exactly
everything
what
the
the
Chiefs were
defensive
doing.
ends. Before I even
Which
get to the
didn't
line,
come up in this game. You think he'd mention it?
he's like, before I even get to the line, I know what they're doing. Therefore, I can get to the line and start moving things around, start checking to a different play. I'm saving myself time. It was like so natural, exactly what you want to hear. Like the kinds of things, Greg Olsen, Chris Collinsworth will point out immediately during a game, like just the schematic X's and O's, things that people haven't played football would find interesting.
What you think Tom Brady would sound like?
Yeah.
And anyway.
Instead, it's like, these are two hard-playing teams, competitors out there. Yeah.
Okay, well, shout out to Tom Brady for all the content. Honestly, I think we had a better year than him, other than the money he got paid.
Right.
But let's keep going there. Commercials. I just have a list of thoughts on the various commercials. Do you want to start with ones that got you? Do you want to start with ones? We could do ones that
Which one
you
will
don't know.
stick with you the most?
My brain took me, which is the whole point of advertising, I guess, is I just am scarred by Seal as a seal for I didn't know the product. I was so scarred. And then I had to look it up again. It's Mountain Dew. And the lyrics are, my flippers cannot hold Mountain Dew.
Would you say this is the Apex Mountain Dew of selling out by Seal? This is like,
And you know how you know why you're right? I don't even know what I'm saying. You know how
You know how I know you're
the hash ringing, the slash flinging. That's a SpongeBob
DK
joke.
didn't get it.
yeah, I did get that.
The reason why you're right is because I feel like somebody had that idea probably 15 years ago,
Right.
and
Seal.
every year they had
As a
Seal, and he was
seal.
like, no. And then
Somebody
finally he's like,
did-
all right, fine.
Craig, somebody made that meme, the Don
The
Draper.
John Draper meme? Seal.
Seal.
It's a seal.
It's a seal.
It's a seal.
Because that is the first place your brain goes to, like in an advertising
He
pitch.
must
I feel like.
owe
It's like, what
money.
if Seal played a Seal?
He must be out of money
Yeah.
because that was bad, but also good.
Right.
Because we're talking
Talking
about
We're
it.
talking, that honestly,
I'm
the way-
thirsty. I should get some Mountain Dew.
We should do this next year. We're winners and losers, or we could do it right now. Winners
We
and
go by their
losers
products?
of the commercials. It's just which ones can you remember right now with no notes, and then those are the ones that won because that's the whole point.
The Seal one was tough.
I love the ads where you still don't know what the product is by the end of it.
Oh my
There was a Squarespace ad where Barry Keoghan was throwing laptops at people, and with the Squarespace like front page
In
on
Ireland,
the laptops
and
in
then he,
Ireland, like hundreds of years
He
ago.
took off into the sky on a donkey.
Yes, and then the commercial ended, and DK was like, "What is Squarespace?" I was like, "That's
No one knows. It's provocative.
probably tough for the ad firm that made that."
You know what though? I'm probably gonna Google it.
I guess, but probably not.
What is it? A website company?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's a company that helps you build a website.
Imagine some Squarespace listening right now. It's
What
just
is
heartbreaking.
Squarespace?
What's I have a list here of things that got me and things I'm ashamed got me. One of them is TurboTax had a commercial with Issa Rae or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, Issa Rae filing taxes. I was like, all right, this is a good representation.
She's like driving
Yeah,
backwards.
filing taxes sucks. And I was like, this is a good commercial. And then at the end, she'd been carrying this box of papers the whole time, like those classic, like box, like clear out your desk box. And then she's poolside, and she takes out a knife and cuts it, and the box is cake.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that was cool.
She's like, now taxes are a piece of cake.
And I was like,
Oh.
man, I love that. Like the This Is Cake. Shout out my brother-in-law loves This Is Cake on Netflix, and I wanted to hate it. And I'm like, dude, This Is Cake is sick. And I don't know. I was really ashamed that I was moved by that.
Again, I don't know if I liked this commercial, but the one that I will remember probably is the When Harry Met Sally
yeah, I was
recreation,
gonna say
the
that one
Hellman's
too.
mayo.
That okay.
I was out.
Perfect.
I was out on it because I was like, this is cheesy. It's like, I don't know. I have a whole issue with the way commercials look now. We could get into that.
No,
later.
just do it right now. Go.
I think commercials, like honestly, the reason why I don't like them anymore, and I think like the last 3-4 years, the Super Bowl commercials are no longer good, is because they're edited like TikToks. They're edited too quick, and there's too much concept in a 30-second span. And the best commercials are the ones where it's like one person doing one funny thing for 30 seconds. I think the comedic timing is being ripped out of commercials because there's so many stars and ideas.
Yeah, it's like you have to get as many cameos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an
as possible.
Avengers thing where now they don't have
and
any
it's
screen
like
time for
the
everyone.
Dunkin' Donuts commercial would have been funnier if you didn't have to cut to 9 different people in
100%.
25 seconds.
Because you know what? They're really trying to get all those people to share it on Instagram or whatever and on
It's
their
awful.
social medias. So they're trying to get as much reach as you can.
Yes, I swear it's all in the editing. I think they're losing comedic timing. The best commercials are like the one joke in 30 seconds commercials and it hits.
But the Harry
And
Met
you
Sally
remember
one
it.
was funny because it's the two of them and she's
The
doing
Sweeney
the thing.
thing I thought was a great
The
button.
Sydney Sweeney, so to speak. What is the?
It hits the spot.
Yeah, it hits the spot.
Oh
She's
my
like
God.
tagline.
Great tagline.
But that's the funniest possible person you could pick to say, I'll have what she's having. That's the number one funniest person in the country you could pick.
I totally agree. I thought that was perfect. I just wish, but beforehand it was
Hits the
like
spot.
cutting back and forth. It was like way too chaotic. If it was just one shot of Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal sitting there and just like having a quiet conversation,
Yeah,
and she starts to do it after adding the mayo, and then it just cuts to Sydney Sweeney, I thought it would have hit 10 times harder. But it was a great concept.
That's a good.
I,
That's a
uh,
good
It's
call.
just over edited.
I saw this Blue Sky tweet, aka Skeet, which is fitting for this.
Don't acknowledge it.
This is from Sarah Benincasa. This is like the funniest thing I've ever seen. She's like, me in a pitch meeting for that Mayo commercial. Meg Ryan provides conspiration for Sid Sweeney at Katz's. Also, Billy is there. And may I remind you, our product strongly resembles jizz. They like so much mayonnaise on that fucking sandwich. I couldn't even believe it.
Yeah.
It hits the spot.
It's a great idea.
It actually, I'm gonna remember
Do you
that.
think they were? That didn't occur to me. Do you think they were trying to?
May I remind you, our product
Is that-
strongly resembles jizz.
Does it?
I mean, have you ever seen it? I don't know.
I think it was a nice add-on. I don't think
That's-
it needed to for the commercial to work, but it
They need to show the product.
I now
Yeah.
see that in a new light. The commercial.
I think it was
I
like
didn't-
a
I
lovely
didn't- I'm not gonna lie, I
coincidence
didn't-
for them. You know, it still would have worked for mustard, but the fact that it was
Right,
mayo is
right.
better.
I actually hadn't made that connection.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now.
Billy Crystal, he said something funny in it too, and I can't remember what it was now.
Oh yeah, he did.
He's
I
like,
know Billy got buried in that commercial. That bothered me.
I know. He was like third. He was
Billy
like third
Crystal.
best.
So the other one. So the Orlando Bloom pitched something. I don't know what it was.
It was Orlando Bloom and Drew Barrymore did the cruise. I thought that was
the
good.
cruise.
It was like
yeah.
Australian
right.
English versus American English.
Right.
Yeah.
So
He's Australian, right?
No, I think he's British.
No, I think he's
All-
Australian. Hold on.
I'll let you settle this before I move on.
Oh no, he's English. The funny part about that is I was like, he sounds English. I was like, I thought he was Australian. I remember thinking this
I
during
think it's because the last
commercial.
name Bloom sounds like it could be Australian, but yeah.
No, here's what it is. He married an Australian model, Miranda Kerr.
But now
Is
he's
that
with
when he got
Katy
a
Perry.
fight in Leo DiCaprio and Ibiza?
I don't know about
Ibiza?
that.
He got he
like
fought
Mad
Leo-
Libs-
No, not no
Mad
Bieber.
Libs
It was Justin
headline?
Bieber. It was Justin Bieber and Orlando Bloom got in a fight. In
God,
Ibiza.
I have thought Orlando Bloom was Australian for like 2 decades, probably.
What are you going to
You
do?
know
with
why?
the rest
I
of
bet
your
it's
life?
because they filmed Lord of the Rings in New Zealand and you got your wires crossed.
I definitely got my wires crossed.
So
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's, like I said, English versus
Right.
American
So you
English.
basically got it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had
Different-
you also had the Tom Brady black tie.
Bottom
back.
line,
Yeah.
different types of English.
That was the joke.
Yep.
Is culturally we want different things.
I've actually
English
always
and
wondered
the
that about
American.
the English accent being super different. But anyway, so he was talking, and I just remember thinking, I haven't heard Orlando Bloom's voice in like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like a new voice. Like I've seen movies he's been, but I haven't heard what he sounded like. Like, because when it was the last Pirates movie I watched, like 2008, he probably filmed it. I didn't know he looked like that. I didn't know he sounded like. I just totally I don't think I've ever heard him talk in that accent. I don't know. I just feel like I didn't know. I hadn't
feel
thought
like
of him in so long.
My perception of him is so different now.
I just know he's Katy Perry's husband, and he convinced her to do some weird, sexy album in September that didn't work. And but I never hear him speak anymore.
He convinced her to do that album?
Oh yeah, he was the one who was like, yeah, he convinced her to do it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Or maybe she did it, and then when it went poorly, that he took the blame.
Everyone has a choice at 40. You know, it's like, do I fight Father Time and go back to sexy, or do I embrace it? You went back to sexy, and Katy Perry
I was also thinking it.
The pause there. I was like, fucker.
And Katy Perry tried to do what you did and failed.
Oh,
yeah, Katy Perry could never.
I think she looks great.
I don't mean physically. She does look great. The album.
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay.
Trying to make like Sabrina Carpenter right now has a very sexual album out. It's tough to be Katy Perry and like compete. It's tough to compete with that. Katy Perry makes her own Hellman's Mayo ad. She's like, I'll have what she's having next to Sydney Sweeney.
That's actually kind of what Katy Perry would do.
Yeah. Especially early Katy Perry.
Okay, can we talk about something else
You know,
while
hot
we're here?
and cold.
While we're
Kissed
here,
a girl, Katy Perry.
the Coffee Mate tongue commercial.
That was too much.
Abhorrent.
I think the people who did that should
Abomination.
They should be in prison.
And not only the people who made the ad, but Coffee Mate. You know what I mean? Coffee Mate foam. It was whipped cream Coffee Mate, and people were just pouring it into their mouth. We've gone too far, America.
Do you think it's weird?
Christ.
Do you think it's weird that there's this think about
It's like, actually, what if we just cut out the coffee and I just drank the sweetener?
I like that you're like in this.
Fuck the coffee. Just turn it into ice cream. I'll eat that.
I just find it funny what Craig gets offended by. In this day and age, just terrible violence.
No, but
and
it's
sex
the
and
tongue.
gore.
It's the tongue where it's like,
Saying? Like
should I do the
can't
thing?
Be like
Toughen
against the
up.
Ukraine war and coffee making whipped cream. I contain multitude.
The duality of man.
Yeah.
but no, it's not.
Craig
the
doesn't give a
it's
fuck
not
about
the-
poverty and just hates the whipped cream coffee mate thing. All right.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The whipped cream thing is the iceberg, the tip of the iceberg. It's like the tip of the whipped cream. The tongue. It started with the tongue out, over.
I know the whole point
up,
is like to
down.
be grossed out.
But here's the thing.
You're gonna remember it.
Imagine being like some buttoned up suit CEO, and they're like, so the goal is every time someone sees Coffee Mate, they're like, oh yeah, the tongue.
Yeah.
Forever now.
These people were pouring it into their mouths like crazed lunatics.
Get it?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if that does work. It might work.
I think
yeah,
we're
it'll
talking
work.
about it. It already did work. That's how advertising works.
I like a one concept commercial. I thought the Liquid Death one was great, and it was all about drinking on the job, and it was just all these people chugging, like pilots and construction workers chugging Liquid Death on the job.
I don't need water in a can. I don't need water in a can. Stop selling me water in a can.
Well, maybe is it better for the environment than plastic water?
Some guy, the story of Liquid Death is actually interesting. The guy who
Probably.
did Liquid Death,
It's easier to recycle.
Yeah.
the guy who did Liquid Death,
I don't mind it in a can. I don't care. I guess it's not resealable. That's the
don't
whole
mind
thing.
but the guy who did Liquid Death just was like, why do only energy drinks have cool advertising? And he just took the energy drink aesthetic and put it on water.
Yeah.
Which is a good idea for a business, but I, as a consumer, I don't get it. I would like to reseal my water and bring it with me.
Yeah, I don't know why they need to make it a can.
It's just, I don't get it.
There's also twist off cans.
Doesn't
The
Liquid
Coors
Death have
Light.
the cartons too?
Ooh,
Have the what?
Like they have like the milk cartons.
I don't know. I've never seen
Somebody
I don't
does.
want, those things taste awful too.
I
don't
don't
do
want
like
kinda
them,
change
but
the
those are
taste.
probably the best for the environment.
Those
but
won't-
I do not
Well,
like
so are
Those-
the paper straws.
yeah.
right. It is literally the paper straws of water
Anyway.
bottles.
What was with the fleshy cowboy head? I don't know what product that was.
It was Tubi.
Why did they do that?
I'm not sure. I was so kind of grossed out by that. I checked out.
At first I thought it was-
slightly disturbing.
At first, I thought it was the Yodel kid was the actor, but then he kept getting older.
Oh, Mason Ramsey?
I thought he was the actor, and then he
Yeah.
kept getting older, and I was like, oh, I thought I knew where it was going, and now I don't. I'm like, there's no product here.
Fleshy cowboy head guy for Tubi.
Is that a show on Tubi, or it's just
I'm not sure.
I have a question.
mysterious?
I'm not watching that show.
What's Tubi?
Tubi is Fox's ad-free supported streaming service.
Really?
Yeah.
You think they would have?
What was that?
What?
What was that?
Which you could watch the game on today for free.
And that was what they went with?
I guess.
Oh, I was thinking of Quibi.
Quibi was the other thing. Like, Quibi was like
Quibi's
the-
long gone, right?
Yeah, that was like the short
you know I
TV
watched
shows
Quibi?
that you could watch on your phone.
Do you know I watched Quibi? Like I had it, and I got it because everyone was like, "This is dumb," and I was like, "Come on, see what's on." I was being contrarian.
Classic Heifetz.
And I started watching. I was like watching Reno 911, had like some really good stuff on there, and there was like a whole other Kardashian show, and the actual Kardashians participated in a fake version, Keeping Up the Kardashians, where they had like a fake brother that they didn't like, but all of them were in it, And I'm watching it. It was really funny, and it felt like I was like the last man on Earth in the Twilight Zone, where I'm digesting all this content. I'm like, I can't find anyone else who's seen any of this.
Quibi was only a little early. I mean, it's like TikTokers basically TV episodes on TikTok now.
No one would make fun of it. They did it now. Honestly, the hardest I laughed the whole Super Bowl, other than when DK said, "What's Squarespace?" was when
not building websites. I
no,
don't
that's
know.
but when Shane Gillis did and Post Malone did like the beer cul-de-sac, save the party, and the woman looks at him and is like, "Your lawnmower smokes meat?" He's like, "No, my smoker cuts grass."
Gillis has been killing it lately
Gillis
in the
is
commercials. He's been doing really good. I got to say, I didn't love Shabuzi's rendition of "What a Wonderful World." That didn't cut it for me.
No.
I'd stick
Okay.
with Louis
But that was
Armstrong.
for the nerd gummies, and that's actually like an innovation in candy. Like the gummy cluster nerds. I don't personally like them, but everyone I know who likes that kind of candy is just I can't speak.
None of us can.
None of us can. But everyone I know who likes that kind of candy has one. I've seen like 6 people have it for the first time, and they actually. It's weird to have something new for the first time. We're like in candy. We're like I've never had anything like this. So it's a good product. And it's for kids. So it should be.
You were saying like you're watching their face light up when they eat it.
Yeah, it's crazy to have like adults be like, I've never had anything like this candy.
Yeah, drugs are crazy.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of there was a Rocket Mortgage commercial that followed the Google Gemini one? This was like the cry segment of the Super Bowl.
Right.
Yeah.
Whichever one would have come first would have won. It sucked that it played right after Gemini.
Yeah, it got market corrected.
But then I don't know if I've ever seen this. The commercial had
I don't know. That's funny to me. I don't know if I've ever seen this.
the commercial had the song Country Roads in it.
Oh yeah.
Take Me Home.
Country Roads. And then it cut straight to the game, and they were playing that in the stadium.
Yes, that was
Everyone
cool.
was singing it.
Yeah.
That was smart.
That reminded me of
That was well done.
Remember the Olympics thing when when Tom Cruise takes the torch from Paris?
Yeah, that was smart too.
And then he like runs, and then
And then
he
he was
ends
in
up in
LA.
LA. That was. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you guys want to talk halftime?
Yeah.
Just whatever you think of the whole performance, the lasting memory of it. There's 2 tracks, but I think the whole thing, even if it sucked, I'm not saying it did. I'm saying even if the whole thing was awful, was worth it just for the moment when Kendrick turned to the camera and was like, "Hey, Drake."
Yeah.
That still is like
Spawned a million memes.
we'll survive the sands of time.
Oh, yeah,
I can't
yeah,
speak again.
You know when astronauts can like go to sleep for like a month? I think Drake probably just like
Yeah, wait. What do you mean? What do
you know
mean?
like the movies when they go to
Oh, the
sleep and
movies.
they're going to Mars.
You meant
the
real life.
astronauts. You're like,
No, I
what?
was thinking like you know the beginning of Alien, they wake up after like
You know
8
how
months.
they can like
Cryo
go to
sleep.
sleep?
Yeah, cryo
Drake
sleep.
sleep for
Should be
30
cryo.
years.
I was like Drake probably was just like I'm gonna just call it for February.
Just
Do
take
you
a
think you
nap.
watched that from Australia?
No,
Again, the fact if
I don't.
you're listening, you don't know this.
With
Drake
Orlando
literally
Bloom.
is on tour in Australia right now. He went as far as humanly possible from New Orleans.
Yes.
Other side of the world.
I don't think he was watching. I really don't.
You think he's like? But here's the thing: you can't scroll because then
It's
you
like
scroll,
not
you
reading
pass
the
all
comments. You know,
Yeah.
What is he doing though if Drake's not on his
how much
phone?
discipline does he have to not look?
Is it summer? It's summer in Australia right now, right?
Yeah.
He literally went as far. Right.
yeah, I
He
think
went
so.
as far away as
I'm
possible
gonna Google that.
to a place with great weather. Who knows? He's probably learning how to surf. You got to distract yourself.
Yeah, get in the water. Is
Yeah.
smart. Yeah. No, but it can't be in
Reconnect
public.
with
No,
Mother
but you
Nature.
can't be in public. Like you can't do anything where people can take a picture of you. You have to be alone in your hotel room.
Yeah, it's summer.
Okay.
December to February.
Yeah.
It's all backwards,
Is
Craig.
it
The
English?
water spins the other way too.
Is it English or Australian?
What?
This is a joke. To
I
earlier
know.
with Orlando Bloom.
Yeah. I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you said what? So it seemed like you didn't. You know what? Whatever. Halftime.
I think in general, I think the performance was great, and I think what makes it hard is one, just like I think lyrical rap is hard to deliver in a fucking football stadium. Like that's
Yeah,
just hard.
it's hard. But he made choices. That was the most political halftime show ever. Like that was people are going to peel back the layers on that.
That
Can't
was
wait for
my
the Cole
thinking,
Kushner
too,
dissect video on that. I think I like Kendrick probably a little more than you guys. He interwove like his entire career into that in ways that like if you work with the source text of what he was doing, there were some crazy messages that he was trying to put out there. Like it's not like Katy Perry fucking Left Shark. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he was
It's like the actual inverse of left
he
shark.
had
actually-
something to say.
Yeah, he
Like,
used it to deliver a message, which is interesting because Kendrick is not a very commercial person, and he did not do a very commercial set.
I think that's kind of the point.
well,
Exactly. He
Yeah,
deliberately did not go with all of his most popular bangers, but yet he chose to perform in the most commercial setting possible.
And
On
they
that
had Sam
note-
Jackson like narrating
Well,
that,
and
essentially
So Sam
yeah.
Jackson, he's like Uncle Sam, but like I think there were two big things with that. On the To Pimp a Butterfly album, he's like the Uncle Sam is. I mean, it's a pimp, and that's the whole point of the album. But the other thing, I think it's very related to Sam Jackson playing his character in Django. I think that's a very specific connection he made there. But the other one, and this one, I think TV Off, which is the same song he made to end it. I think TV Off was written to be a protest to the Super Bowl. And I think that's actually, he was saying, stop watching the NFL. Because if you think about it, he got the Super Bowl halftime show announced. He released TV Off and wrote it like 2 months later and then ended the Super Bowl with it. And then the song's called TV Off. And then the last thing he said is, looking into the camera, turn your TV off, with a song he released after he got the halftime. And I'm like, is that a coincidence? I'm like, I think he actually was trying to have him. He's like, stop watching football. I think that's kind of what he was trying to say.
What say you, DK?
I don't think I'm qualified to answer that question. I'm not going to wade into that because I'm going to sound like a moron. But I thought it was actually just purely very provocative and interesting.
Yeah.
Like I spent probably and part of the reason was the game was really boring. But I spent like 30 minutes after the game, kind of like reading the reactions to the performance. So obviously it worked. That's the type. I think that's exactly what you want from a performance because I was so like intrigued with all the visuals, the fact that they had the American flag on stage, and just everything that went into the performance.
It's fun when there's layers to art and
so-
there's more going on than just what's on the surface.
Do you want to weigh in on what you think Kendrick was trying to say about the history of race relations in America?
No, but look,
Okay.
if he wanted people to stop watching the NFL, he picked a great game to perform.
Honestly, he was, once again, Kendrick's right. Like, you did not need to watch the end of that game.
I thought cinematically, real quick, I thought it was really cool the way that they filmed it because they had the cameras kind of going in, and I know they do this like a little bit in every Super Bowl performance, but I thought it was very creative the way that they filmed this. From like the walk and talks or whatever, where he was moving around the different sets.
And he had like the PlayStation buttons, basically. It was like triangle, circle, X, and yeah.
I just thought it was really cool from that point of view too.
Also, having Drake's ex-girlfriend dance on stage, Serena Williams.
Oh my God, that was crazy. Yeah.
See walking.
Yeah. And so he had Serena Williams there. The other thing I'll say, and again, I think that frankly, I'm actually I'm interested to see, I think smarter people than me will like analyze what he was trying to
probably
say.
Dissect.
But yeah, I think shout out Dissect here at Spotify, and like Cole Cushner is going to have an incredible breakdown on that halftime show at some point. Could not recommend. There's literally no one like Cole Cushner is such an amazing person with Kendrick, so I'm excited for that. Shout out Cole and Dissect. I will just say this, regardless of what I'm curious what the ultimate message people think it is. It was cool to see someone like music as like boundary pushing. Like he really pushed it really far for how politically he could be at a Super Bowl halftime show. And that I thought was frankly like he tried something that I feel like in my life I've never seen anyone try to do, really. And I respected that a lot.
Yeah, him tackling that on the most commercial stage possible is, I think, why he's so great.
Yeah. That was sick.
And SZA killed it as well.
Yep.
I also, dude, when he played the beginning of Not Like Us, and he
teased
said,
it.
I want to perform their favorite song, but he's like, but you know they love to sue us. And then he like teased it. He honestly
He played like a few bars.
He
of it or
edged
whatever.
us. He honestly edged us.
Yeah. He gets mad at me for saying stuff. What is he talking about?
No, yeah.
I mean, that was
Heifetz was gooning that whole performance.
He really was.
You
You should have seen him.
You explain what that means?
It was a
No.
sight to,
Okay.
No.
to behold.
I'll make it easy for parents driving with their kids right now.
Any other stuff? McConaughey was ever any other commercials, game, anything we haven't hit?
Oh, I feel like there's probably plenty.
There's probably
What
a
else
lot.
we got? What else we got?
I think this was all prelude to the main event here, which is Danny Kelly telling the people what it was like to raw dog a
dog the
4.5 hour flight from New Orleans to Los Angeles.
Again, so DK lost the picks contest in the playoffs, and again, we have to do this forever now. Winners don't get shit. It's like if you lose, you get messed with.
But I do like that the winner gets to pick what window or aisle. I took aisle. You had
Did you?
window. Yeah.
I didn't know
Also,
that. I wanted
it's
window.
just
I didn't even know
so
that.
perfect that the fucking aisle that we chose had no window.
Amazing.
That was unbelievable. You couldn't have
Like
written
we
that.
didn't plan that, but it just sometimes
you couldn't
sometimes
even look
it just
out
clicks.
the damn window.
Yeah.
Even like
I literally couldn't see outside. It's like God.
so how was DK? Yeah, what were you? We have not actually broken down about
No.
this. Like we did some content, but otherwise DK again, no phone, No movies, no music, no reading, no nothing. He got this.
Right.
We just very controversial. People love cruelty.
I know.
People love cruelty. If you
Draconian, these people
love cruelty. The Milgram experiment was on something like when we were like, hey, we put on Blue Sky and we're like, and again, follow us on Blue Sky because it, things, but like follow us on Blue Sky and we put there. And we were like, hey, we decided to let DK watch the flight map because we think it goes slower. And all the replies
People were like, ridiculous. You guys are soft.
He doesn't deserve it.
Dude,
End him.
Watching the flight map is like reading the label of a shampoo bottle. It just
Over
it
and over
literally
and over.
doesn't change the whole. Like it's moving so slowly.
Also, we made the specific distinction that he could not maneuver around
He couldn't touch
the
it.
map.
No, he
touch
couldn't
the
go
map.
around the world
It was
and look at
it
the
was
map.
the map
It was
of
just
Earth.
America. No, it was America, I thought.
Well, it was
mainly
the
just-
Americas. It was
and-
it was like really zoomed out,
and
and
he
you
could
could see
see-
all of North America and South America. Like I wasn't zooming in and like happily, exploring
You just
the maps.
watched the plane move from New Orleans to Los Angeles.
1
over
millimeter.
five.
It also
every
did not
30
change.
minutes.
You know how sometimes the screen kind of like rotates through different views and things.
We wouldn't have allowed
Wasn't doing
that.
any
No.
of that.
And then the other, I pulled a cruel thing on him where I was like, I kind of wanted to like tell him, like, I'll let you cheat and look at my screen, and then I put up
It's just a picture
I
of
put
the
up
plane.
the specifications of the plane, and I put that on mine. Anyway, so how was it? Like what? Just tell us. What did
I mean,
you
it
think
was
about
boring as hell. What do you think? It was terrible.
But what did you think?
Did it start bad and get better? Did it start good and
No,
get worse?
It started well. It was like not too bad. Oh, this is pretty easy. I'm feeling pretty good. I went and like ran through checklists of all this different things I wanted to organize in my life. I was kind of like making mental lists and things like that. I was pretty productive. But then after like 20 minutes, I was like, okay, this is boring. And the last hour and a half, it's kind of like a marathon. The last hour and a half was just excruciating.
You ran a marathon?
No, but I'm just like you had to imagine.
basically
The
just
last
did on a
mile,
flight.
the last mile of a marathon is hard. I've heard. I can just imagine it.
Put that on a quote card.
Would you
put
rather-
that on
The
Instagram.
last mile.
Last mile of a marathon is hard.
It's like
I've heard.
the way that I best can explain it is I hate running. I hate jogging. Craig, you're not gonna get this because you like it, but it's just so fucking boring to jog, especially if you don't have music or a podcast in. And after like 2 minutes, you're like, okay, when is this gonna
So
be
would
over?
you rather run 26 miles or
No.
raw dog
a walk.
or raw dog 26 hours?
26 hours?
Yeah, what would you rather do?
You have to stay up the whole
That's
time.
a darkness retreat.
Yeah, you have to stay up the whole time.
That's a dark.
I would rather raw dog the flight. It's obviously not as bad as running a marathon.
You'd rather raw dog 26 hours than run
Yeah.
a marathon?
Yeah.
So
And also I'm saying this sort of tongue in cheek. It's obviously not that bad, but it's just really boring.
because also like you do a day and you're done, but to run a marathon you have to like commit to that.
I
you
was
have to get
elated.
your body
I was
ready.
elated when we were done.
So
I was like, "This is
you were-
like it actually
You
kind of
grabbed
makes
your
you feel alive."
You grabbed your phone like it was like
You were swiping so
There was
fast through
so many
TikTok.
times I was like had the impulse to like look something up or search for go online shopping or whatever, read Twitter, read whatever. But I was just like, can't do it. I can't.
Dude, in It's a Wonderful Life when he runs back in from the end and he's like, kids, come in. And you looked at your apps, you're like, Instagram, Twitter,
Yeah, 100%.
Amazon, text.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I did feel like a teacher monitoring like students during detention because Heifetz fell asleep.
Yeah, Heifetz
immediately.
So
immediately
it
went to
became
sleep.
my
Fell asleep
job
for the first
to
hour.
monitor you, and I was watching a movie.
You're
on my
like the
iPad.
dad driving and like
Yes.
the mom promises she'll stay awake for the whole drive to,
Yeah.
to keep you company, and then Heifetz
Out
falls
cold. I was
asleep
like, cool.
immediately.
That's me, by the way. Jackie loses her mind.
Yeah.
So I had to slap your wrist like a nun every time I saw you,
did.
looking at my iPad.
So here's my question. I've been meaning to ask you this for 2 days, and I've held off till right now, so we can do the
God.
show. You told me, and we did an hour check-in, and you said I've reorganized my whole life, and I've been waiting to ask you this. Do you remember anything about what you decided to do?
We did let you write down
some
a
of
few
things. You let me write down things about the show, because then we could be a little productive. But
Do you ultimately think that?
Well, no.
that-
To be clear, in spurts, you didn't get to do it the whole time.
Right.
We wanted you. We did actually want. We didn't. We were a little like, what if he comes up with some incredible strategy and then forgets it?
Yeah.
right.
You're like,
How does this
"Wanted to
affect
rinse-"
us?
Yeah.
right.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, no. I just.
Ultimately, do you think you came out on the other side better or worse? Was it positive?
Better. It was honestly, it was a little bit. It makes me feel a little nostalgic for the time before the internet, the time before movies on planes. I remember back in the day. This is aging me, of course, but you were like astonished if there was a movie on the plane, and they used to have these
Yes.
drop-down screens.
I remember that.
It's
too.
like drop-down
It was
screens in
electric.
2 different spots on the plane, so you could see it from really far away. It was like going to a drive-in movie theater. It was so far away.
And it's also,
you had
also
little headphones.
communal experience.
Yeah,
Because
right.
everyone's
Watch the same
watching,
movie.
so it's actually kind of fun.
So,
Yeah, they throw on like an easy comedy or something.
I mean, obviously you could read and stuff when you're before the internet, but
Well, no, I
it
can't
did
read on
it did
planes,
remind me of
so-
like flying in my childhood when it was so boring. I just couldn't wait to get out of there.
But is it
and
like
you were
other
like, oh
forms of
my
nos-
god, this is the future. We have
it-
a movie today, and but then it's like some terrible movie.
Is it like other forms of nostalgia when you go back? You're like, yeah, it's kind of actually sucked.
Yeah, I mean the modern amenities are sick. Like the fact
This
that
is
you
why I
can,
got mad about the plane Wi-Fi thing, where I'm just like, we've come a long way in like 15 years, but that's all.
Don't offer it if it doesn't work.
So, wait, DK, wait. So, but no, did
Craig,
you not write
by the way,
down-
Craig and Heifetz both of them throughout the plane ride were just having the best time. They were
We did have
just-
a great
Craig
time.
Craig was just having so much fun watching
you watch-
content, writing, texting. You used every piece of technology that you had at your disposal. You were on an iPad, you were on your phone, you were using the screen in front of you. You did a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Well, hey,
You're
Smoke
just
'em if you got
like a
'em.
Renaissance man over
I
here.
was. I was also trying to
Smoke 'em
torture
if
you.
got 'em. I know you did a great job.
You
saw me
angled,
reading.
You watched Brothers, and you angled it so DK
Spoiler:
could
next
see.
rewatchables.
Oh, nice. Well, they didn't have to. You spoiled it because they didn't know it was rewatchable until you said it.
Well, maybe people were like, "Why was Craig watching Brothers on the plane?"
Yeah.
I flipped that on you, but I was scared for a moment.
Yeah. Well, Bill will fire you now. No, we can cut that.
Wait.
I don't wanna spoil
wait,
the movie.
No, wait. We should bleep it. You were watching bleep,
Okay.
and then
People
you're
can
like, oh.
people can read lips though. So you gotta
shit.
like
You know what? If they can read my lips, it's good for them.
Okay.
They get it.
all right.
That's sick.
They're awarded the movie title that is coming out in 9 hours from when they're
Oh
listening.
yeah,
to
isn't
this.
it coming out tomorrow?
Comes out Monday night. So
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
That's a good idea. We'll bleep
Yeah,
it.
we'll bleep it.
Craig had, and I'm not even kidding.
Well, I was watching a movie on my iPad and I was
But
on my phone.
You
and headphones
angled
on.
it to DK, and you were kind of like looking eyes like I
you
wonder
were
if he's gonna
doing
turn.
your phone,
You were tempting him.
the iPad,
was
and the
not-
screen.
I was not doing the
and you
screen.
had your
I was not doing the
your
screen.
You had your AirPods, and
Those
you
are
had, you were
headphones.
like alternating between your AirPods and your big headphones. You were just trying to make it.
What do you? Don't come after me. I can tell you everything that I did. Everything has a reason. When I boarded the plane, I just had the AirPods in because it's easier. I was listening to a podcast as things were getting settled. I didn't want to bust out the big headphones. Once we reach cruising altitude and you can bring down the tray table, then you bust out the big dogs, you set up the iPad, and you begin the movie.
Just an immersion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I was just jealous. All
This
right.
is an ugly
was
color
gonna
on
say.
you, I must say. We even
jealousy.
we-
Jealousy is an ugly color.
We allowed DK to smoke cigarettes, but the airline didn't allow it. Unfortunately.
But yeah, it was pretty boring. It's definitely really
I'm not
boring.
gonna lie.
Really,
I
was,
thought
like,
you'd have more
very
thoughts
glad-
to share from the 4.5 hours.
Yeah, he was like kind of nothing.
He has nothing. What did you think? I can't. I don't know. Wait
What
a
do you
second.
need?
ask
What do you
this.
need? What do you want to know?
You fell
what
asleep for
did
20
you
minutes
do?
and I woke you up.
Oh, DK. Wait, I didn't tell you this. DK turns to me.
I kind of like gave you a soft
I was
elbow.
doing a lot of
I was
videos.
thinking. I wasn't. I just had my eyes closed.
We're gonna save this
think
to our
like this?
Instagram story. DK
Buddy
turns-
does.
I took a photo of you.
You fucker. Did
Oh,
you really?
oh,
Yeah, I
you
got
took
one.
the photo. Okay, DK
I got
tur-
one.
You got one. So DK
God
must
damn
have
it.
noticed this while he's sleeping.
I
'cause
needed
DK
evidence.
DK turns
In
to
case
me.
you came after my headphone habit.
DK turns
I'm
to
just
me.
saying I was jealous.
So DK turns to me and he's like, "Did you take a photo of me while I was sleeping?" And I was like, "Were you sleeping?" And he's like, "No."
God damn it.
Let me see.
Look at this guy. He's definitely deep in thought.
We're definitely not fucking sharing that.
Oh, it's on the show. We already
You
said
can
it.
just imagine. No, I know you. I'm just saying we're not putting the photo.
that
up.
man is asleep.
Looks pretty funny. You should say
Look, no man should take a picture of
texting this
another
to
man
myself
who's
from your
sleeping.
phone.
Well, you
so that
disobeyed the
it's in
rules,
two
so I
different
feel
places.
like
I was
it's a
awake.
punishment.
I'm texting this.
I was like in a.
He was a man.
You were in a fugue state.
Yeah.
He had a beard.
I was meditating.
You're right.
I don't know how many times I can ask this. What were you thinking about for you? You said the first hour you reorganized your life. What did you think about for the next 3 hours?
I mean, it was like literally anything I could think of to.
It was like a
make
stream
lists.
of
It was.
consciousness,
I
or
was.
did you get into anything important?
Craig.
You're like,
Craig before the flight was like, "You should make a list of all the books you read," and I was like thinking about that. How I can make the books, and I was like, how am I going to
you were
redo
thinking
my
about how you
wardrobe
can make
or
a list
whatever?
of books.
I was gonna say, did you make the list of books?
What do you mean?
I was like thinking of all the books I've read lately.
okay.
And then I was thinking of what app I would use, whether I was just gonna go like Google Docs or should
Goodreads.
like an actual app or whatever. I don't know how in depth I want to go. I don't.
You should go to Squarespace.
Is that a place?
Make
Is
your
that,
book-
is that
make
a
your
book
book
thing?
website.
Yeah. I did all kinds of things.
All right. Now he's
I
getting
built
defensive.
a house.
He's getting upset.
I built my house brick by
'Cause we
brick.
expected more from his brain over those 4.5 hours.
It's like in the Zoolander thing. It's like just goes to it's like just or no, it's the Homer Simpson thing.
The monkey was the symbol.
That's literally all that was going on in there.
Oh my god! All right. Well, I think this. This is like a pretty tough Super Bowl. When I'm like, I was like, we have more. I'm like, game, and I'm like, you want to talk about game more? I'm like, nah. I think we're okay, right? So again, if you stuck with us this long, we really appreciate it. We are still covering. We're going to change our name at some point. We got to figure that one. Figure out when. The Ringer NFL Draft Show. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok, and hit follow. We never asked for this on Spotify or other platforms we listen to pods, YouTube, but listen on Spotify and. Follow the show. We cover the whole offseason. DK's watched a ton of players. He'll be crushed if you stop watching. But we really do a great job covering the offseason. Free agency's coming up. There's probably going to be a big trade soon. And then, we got that. And NFL Draft Show, we're going to, I guess there are things I shouldn't say out loud about future things that may be coming up for us. But draft is in late April. What?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I meant potential shows in the future. Potential live places.
Oh, okay.
Potential live shows.
Now I know.
Okay, yeah. We're going to do a live show probably.
I just started saying
If you want to read between the lines on this.
But for those of you who are going to attend the draft in Green Bay, we were not going to be in Green Bay.
Yeah, we should just
throwing that out
we
there.
should do what Amazon did with the headquarters and just slowly eliminate cities.
Nobody cares.
No one cares.
We get like 8 likes on the tweet. It is
Green
not
Bay,
St.
Wisconsin.
Louis. Everyone's like, who gives a shit?
All right. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Tucker. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Marcelino. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for listening for the whole season. Thank you, honestly.
Season's over?
I know.
Season's over. It's
Whoa.
crazy.
Our Sundays are
Whoa.
free once again.
Thank you, Tom Brady, for all the
you guys
content.
still want to do a Sunday night pod?
I actually would.
Oh, God. That's terrible.
It was a rhetorical question. Of course he doesn't want it.
Thank you, Lauren.
Lord.
Thank you, Kendrick Lamar.
Nice.
No, we kind of already did that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What else do you want to talk about? Last Sunday.
Craig got angrier about that than when I shoved the shirt in his face.
Craig's like,
I want that to be actually the lasting memory of this show. If you come away with anything, much like the fucking coffee mate whipped cream, it's that Heifetz shoved his dirty armpit shirt into my nose in an Airbnb before going out.
Not when you were awake.
the loudest
wake up that way.
Airbnb of all time.
It was crazy because there was no light, but all the sound got through. I didn't know how the particles worked.
Just reverberated through the entire room.
Loud building.
In through your chest.
Yes.
All the noises.
Email us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com if you have been bamboozled on Airbnb or have weird Airbnb. I want to know your weird Airbnb stories, preferably funny. I know there's some dark ones. I want the good ones.
Yeah.
Or if
like the weirdest ones. You go to an Airbnb, it's just the room is like
something
full of clowns.
Yeah. What? It's not where I thought you were going.
Clown decorations.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant people.
That's the best genre of people just searching on like Redfin or whatever what's the other one called?
Zillow?
Zillow, yeah. And they just find weird listings of houses that have like a million clowns.
There was one that went really viral that was like, it was kind of like, you know those old memes of like, when you see it, you'll shit bricks. And there was one.
Right. When you see it.
Yeah, when
those
you
are
see
the best.
it. And there was one when you see it. It took me forever to figure it out because there was like 41 photos. And it was just like, they just had like a sex swing in the photos. Like a full-on sex swing. But it was like tasteful. It was like
And it was like
expensive.
live, laugh, love, like on the back wall, just next to
Live,
the
laugh,
sex swing.
love. Live, laugh, goon.
People send us when you see it because I really do enjoy.
Send
those.
us the when you see it. Those were great.
When you
Those were
see
like
it.
those are like the original memes that I remember. I don't know if
Yeah.
they're the originals, but they're the first memes that I remember seeing. Okay, and also just a reminder, please email us. We're doing a giant mailbag, the biggest mailbag we have ever done.
Mega mailbag.
Mega mailbag. What should we call it? Mega mailbag?
Yeah.
Okay.
Super
Mega end of year mailbag.
Super mega end of year
Stuff
mailbag.
going moving forward towards the draft, free agency, stuff looking backwards at the year, fantasy looking forward or backwards, anything about
All the dumb stuff.
raw dogging flights,
Raw
whatever.
dogging flights. Yeah, literally whatever you want to do.
Raw dogging marathons. You know what? Actually, I would love to know if you've done that.
That sounds terrible.
What do you think about?
Well, you know what I've been doing lately is I do not run marathons. I run 2 to 4 miles max, but I'm starting to not listen to anything.
You're
we
a
talked about
masochist.
this.
No,
You're a
it's actually
masochist.
great. It
Yeah.
really is.
It's therapeutic.
cathartic.
Well,
Yes, it
we
is.
talked
No,
about
it's
it.
just
Yes,
a dry
yes.
heat.
He's the reason I did it. Heifetz.
Yeah.
Because he told me, he's like, I actually go on runs and I just stop listening to anything. And I
Sounds
do
terrible.
it sometimes. No, it's really
No,
nice.
it's great, and I got it from my friend
Because
Mike.
it's passive thinking, because your body is focused on the running, and it just allows your brain to kind of naturally think about things without any of the panic of sitting in an airplane seat.
Yeah, you literally
having
feel
nothing
like
else to do.
You literally feel like the thoughts are falling out of your head as you're running. Like
great.
you kind of feel like you're literally like leaving them behind.
like in the shower.
Yes.
Yeah.
The best thinking happens in the shower.
No, it's not like that. It's like it's
No,
like
it's the opposite.
It's kind of like that, where it's like
I
you're
guess.
doing something passively, and it allows your brain to freely think.
Yeah, okay, it is the same thing.
Glad we landed there.
Took all season, but I'm like, yeah, it's just like that.
Actually, just a full circle here. I think the worst part of the raw dogging experience was sitting in the middle. Sitting in the middle is awful.
Yeah.
That I
Wait,
don't think it
we
was the
should also
worst part. That implies you'd rather saying that's the worst part implies that you'd rather
Raw dog in the
raw
aisle.
dog from the aisle than sit middle with content, which I don't think you feel.
Yeah, you're right.
We also have to discuss. We've never flown together as a three.
Oh yeah.
Threesome.
How do you feel about the way we board?
You guys went without me because I was annoyed. So to be clear, they were in group 5. They tried to board with group 4, got to the front of the line.
Well, they split the.
They said
I
that-
tried to
line
get
was
to
small.
I tried to line up at the end of 4.
We didn't cut
Beginning
into
You were
4.
trying to cheat.
No, I was trying to
Yeah.
be
We
cut
first
into
for
4.
zone 5.
We were the first people for group 5, but it turned out that
And then you had to be on the other side. You had to be on the other side of the line, the barrier thing.
No, but the
so
line-
they
it
had to
wasn't
go
two
all the way
lines
back
the
to the end of the
whole-
line.
but
And I
it wasn't-
just sat back and
It wasn't lines the
chatted.
whole time. It was like the line split at the very end, and then like we
They're
were
in a
like,
hurry to get on the back on a flight to the back of the fucking airplane to
Yeah, I wanted
fly
to get my
a 4-hour.
I wanted to
flight.
get my flight above because they were going to check the bag.
I mean, that's valid,
You want to get your bag above.
Yeah.
right? Because that was a debacle. Actually, it took like an extra hour to get the plane filled because there was way too many carry-on bags. Do you remember this?
Yeah, it was like they did.
And it felt like an eternity for me, especially because I was like, the plane's not even off the ground yet. What are we doing here?
anxiety.
But anyway, keep going. How was our plane etiquette?
Yeah.
Etiquette
How are
was
we
good.
as
Etiquette was good.
Partners in the same aisle.
You guys were actually great. You were great.
Thank you.
Wow,
Yeah.
look at us.
Polite passengers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
No one did anything weird. No smelly foods. Nobody popped the shoes off. Nobody had to pee 10 times.
No, weirdly enough, it was kind of a joy to fly with you guys.
Wow.
Wow, that's really
What a
nice.
wholesome way to end the
Wow,
season.
That's
I
great.
didn't really expect you to be annoying.
Honestly, when Heifetz just fell
I'm talking
asleep,
to
I was
Craig,
like,
by the
oh,
way. Yeah.
not bad.
Heifetz was great. Heifetz was surprisingly very polite and a great person to sit next to on the plane.
Were you listening to anything when you fell asleep? You had AirPods in.
Yeah, I was listening to probably Kendrick actually. Probably a
Yeah,
lot
you
of
were.
Kendrick's new
You
album.
were. I was looking over your shoulder. I wasn't supposed to be doing that. Craig got really mad at me because I was reading his text. I was just like starved for fucking input.
Your brain's just like dopamine.
Just give me something to look
I was
at.
like texting Liz, like, DK's such a bitch right now.
He's acting like a little bitch.
I'm trying to bait him into reading my insults of DK on my phone.
You're typing into your friend.
DK
Hey,
was
DK,
really annoying
fuck
this
you.
week.
Yeah, you want this, don't you?
DK snored really badly last night. He didn't.
I didn't. No, I don't think.
All sound sleepers. The three of us plus Carlos literally shared an Airbnb, 1 room, 4
Can we?
beds.
Since you went in on me for the shirt, can we admit that there was one bed that was like 10 times worse than the other beds? And I just
Heifetz
volunteered
did.
to
He
take
took
it.
one for the team.
Which
He
I
did.
wasn't going to mention, but the fact that the shirt thing, which I thought was funny, came up twice. I'm like, I did. You did not want to sleep in that bed.
I
And we were gonna
paid you
drop-
guys to not sleep in
Craig
it. So
paid-
Why did you pay us?
Craig paid
Because
each
I
of
I
didn't
us.
told you
sleep
to
in
take
it.
the money back.
I didn't.
He
I'm
paid
a man
us
of my word.
$20
That's
each to
ridiculous.
get the
Yeah,
group.
That's crazy.
Here's why. Here's
the
why.
money back. I'm
Right,
giving
I
you-
love that we're getting so personal. Here's why. Here's why. I have trouble. Don't pay me. I don't want the $20.
$20 for the bed. It was the good of my heart.
I paid you
When someone
before.
does something, you did? I didn't see the Venmo till. Oh, I commented on the
I paid
Venmo.
you at like, I don't know, at the Spotify
I
party
saw it
maybe.
5 hours later. I thought it was funny. I commented on the Venmo. Where are you? We're trying to get drinks.
I did see that.
He's
I didn't see
texting
it till
through
the-
Venmo. This is worse than like
That
getting
was
into
actually
the,
really funny.
going into the DMs
like,
on the
all right.
fantasy thing.
Well, I was gonna text you on his cup. Oh, the DMs. What'd you say?
I said texting someone like communicating via Venmo is worse than sliding.
It was
in
a bit.
to the
Yeah,
DMs on Yahoo.
No, Heifetz is a good Airbnb roommate. He was, because he was at Trooper and
He also
did-
was the first person up, and he was like showered before anyone woke up.
Yeah, and then he mounted me like a cat to wake me up. The reason why I
He was like checking to see if you're dead so he can eat you.
there was one bed that was like kind of around the corner. It was like technically the furthest away. And I don't sleep well when people snore. And DK and Carlos are like, oh yeah, I snore super loud. And I was like, fuck.
Well, I said I snore when I drink.
and we were going to.
We were going out.
So I
And
was
there
like-
was very good odds on a Friday night in New Orleans at
Yes.
a party we were going to drink.
So I was very nervous that I was going to get literally zero sleep. So I was like, you know what? I'll just pay you. I'll pay you guys $20 just to give me the bed.
I didn't even.
This is
hear
a
you say
here's
that.
a here's a valid question from Carlos. Why didn't he get $20?
Because we gave. I tell you why. Because we gave Carlos the other king bed, and he
But he didn't
it.
take it.
So I paid.
All right, so
him.
this
on a
is for
shitty bed,
Carlos.
too.
That's for
then.
Carlos.
This
I
is
don't
for
think anyone
Carlos.
communicated to Carlos that he got the king bed.
Did we
Give
not
that
tell
money
him
to
that?
Carlos.
Oh, we didn't tell him.
Because we were
Carlos,
like, oh,
you were
give
supposed to
Carlos
get the king.
because he went
Carlos,
home before.
yeah, Carlos.
We thought he was Carlos. You were
But
supposed
that's
to get
why.
the king.
Carlos
I was
really
like-
took one for the team. He didn't get any money.
Because you two had like the more trundle beds, but then
What'd you call it?
trundle bed?
Yeah, trundle, I think is the word.
Oh, trundle sounds like grundle, and I just
No,
thought I
I'm
meant the
looking it up.
same thing.
Trundle bed.
Uh,
That's definitely a thing.
I'm gonna send Carlos your $20.
That's fine.
yeah, a trundle bed is
Yeah,
where
yeah.
the bottom one comes out.
That's
and-
exactly
yeah,
what it
yeah,
was.
Yeah, you're right.
Thank you.
It did sound
Skirted
bad.
that one. Trundle does sound like something not.
Yeah.
Trundle bed. Sounds like
anyway,
something in the sex swing house.
The bed on the the bed.
I'm covering my bases here. Yeah, that's why I did that.
Yeah,
And it
Craig-
paid off. I slept well. But you guys ended up not snoring, but it was worth it to me to pay.
You looked really
Craig, you
peaceful,
weren't
which is
stressed
why
about
I
it.
thought it'd be funny to wake you up. You had ear. You looked like a cartoon. You had
Earplugs in.
Earplugs
For-
in.
in my
and
defense-
a sleep mask. You had a sleep mask. And if you're wondering why would Heifetz do that, wake him up. It was the only thing I wanted. It was 10:35. We were checking out 25 minutes. I'm gonna wake him up, and I
is
was
what
like,
it's
it'd be
to
funny if
travel.
I.
This is what
it'd
it's
be funny
like
if
to
I woke him
travel
up.
with
Done this
Heifetz.
argument.
It'd be funny if I woke him up.
You could have
That's all.
woken me up in any way, even though we had 25
You can
minutes.
say
I just
his
put my
name
face really
with your
close to yours.
mouth.
I just
Yeah.
put my face really close to yours.
You like basically went nose to nose with me.
It was funny.
I
I told him.
That's
for
how
the
my
record,
cat
I
wakes
told
him
him
up.
several times not to do that.
But him saying, "Well,
That's true
we
as
only
well.
had 25 minutes," has nothing to do
I
with
was like,
the way you
Heifetz,
woke
Oh,
me
no,
up.
I
just
agree with that, yeah.
you can
But you
touch
keep
his
going back
foot.
to that. We
But
had
it's
25
funny.
minutes.
I just want to be clear. I did
About what?
That I didn't because I don't like waking.
What are you
people-
trying to be
Why do
clear
you keep
about?
saying there's 25 minutes?
Because when you said I don't people who mess with you when you're sleeping, and I
did.
want to be clear about one thing. I have no qualms that I woke you up in a weird way that
Yeah,
I
we
thought
know.
would be funny. But I don't like when you wake people up when they're like sleeping and like don't have to get up. Like I never would have woken you up that way if we did not have to leave for the airport. Like if it was like 7 a.m, I'm like, we should hit him with a cheesecake. Like no, which has happened to me. And like
that's true.
That I just want to be super clear. It was not like I think it'd be funny to fuck with Craig. I was like, we have to go,
Yeah.
and I'm going to make a
Therefore,
bit
I'm
out of
gonna
it.
fuck with Craig.
Yes, I want to be super
He has
clear.
to
I
wake
never
up
would've-
anyway, so let's fuck with him.
Yeah, I want to be like I have no
Still hate that, but
And
that's
you
fine.
didn't think that, you know what, I already shoved my dirty armpit in his face last night. Maybe we'll let the guy wake up normally.
I regret that one more. That one I apologize for. That was too much.
I think I handled it actually quite well in the moment. I kind
You
of
d- almost too well that I forgot about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I kind of forgot I did that. Yeah, no, you handled it really well. Thanks. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry I did that.
it's all right. I'm happy you chose the cleanest shirt.
Thanks.
That's what's important. And we had a great night that night.
It's a long wait.
Yeah.
We didn't get to do the long.
That was the best night of the
We
week.
saw
had a
Megan Thee
blast.
Stallion, Blink 182,
Anderson
The
Paak.
Stallion.
Anderson Paak.
Yeah.
What?
Anderson
Megan
Paak came
Thee
out-
Stallion.
Yeah.
Came out. Anderson Paak DJ. He came out dressed as
sick.
Prince.
Yeah.
Basically.
That was sick.
He's the best. I love him.
Yeah.
Fun night.
All right.
Season's over.
Hell of a season, kid.
Yeah.
Hell of a season.
I was gonna say goodbye, everyone, but I'm like it's kind of a down note.
Now we're crying.
I'm going to miss you guys.
We're gonna
I'm gonna
record a
miss you
show
guys.
tomorrow.
No, we're gonna do 2
We're
shows.
gonna-
We have
Yeah,
email
we're
us
not
for the
going
oh
anywhere,
yeah, I'll see you
actually.
guys. All right.
We're going to be in studio in like 12.
Emails for the yeah, right. Emails for the mailbag. Seriously, whatever you want, any dumb stuff, whatever you think, just email us about whatever you want, and we're gonna have a giant mailbag. Okay. Yeah. Goodbye, everyone.